Part 19. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tio Yu Lan. Chapter 183. The clear water hit his face, and even his lungs seemed to be filled with cold air. Sakakibara tried to use cold water to cool down his head, which was thinking about the feelings in the dream, but he washed his face with cold water several times in succession. The image of Amami Nanamajetsu's disgusted face, aloofness, and a bit blushing still stuck in his mind. Unforgettable. What's more important is that he can now recall the dense and soft feeling with his waist. He can't describe it in words. Another handful of cold water hit his face. Sakakibara covered his face with his hands, full of despair. It's over, it's really over. What should I do if I can't forget it? I would actually have such a dream about a little girl. Is it too energetic? Puberty is a troublesome time, either you want to look at girls or you want to look at girls' long legs. He even recalled the feeling of Tian Haikimingyu kissing him. He should have had a strong refusal attitude towards Chi Minjiu. But now, how do I face her? Well. Sighing, Sakakihara picked up the washing tub with hot water, poured some washing powder into it, and prepared to go to the balcony to wash his pants. To be honest, he is embarrassed to look at his pants now. The more I look at it, the more frustrated I become. I'm so ashamed that I want to bang my head against the wall for no reason. At one point, Sakakihara Raku had the idea that he was too bad, a strange feeling of guilt. Well. What are you doing? Raku Sakakibara, who was sitting on a small stool, heard the sound and turned around, only to find a sleepy Suzu Sakakibara standing behind her wearing a bunny hooded pajamas. Her short hair was messy and she looked like she hadn't woken up at all. But her bun face looks very cute in this situation, small and round. Why are you doing laundry so early in the morning? It's such a cold weather. I forgot to wash my clothes yesterday, so I washed them early today. Sakakihara subconsciously wanted the basin in his hand. If this thing is seen by my sister, it is simply the ultimate superposition of social death and social death. Unexpectedly, this aroused Sakakibara's curiosity, and she now had suspicion written all over her face. Wrong. Yes, what's wrong? Washing clothes, brother, why do you act so guilty? Where can I find it? Haha, please get out of the way. When I finish washing the clothes, I will fry the luncheon meat and cook the lean meat porridge. Sakakihara Suzu pouted and approached him. She seemed to be looking directly at Sakakihara Raku, and then suddenly poked her head from the right side, trying to see what was in his hand. A ling. Fortunately, Sakakibara was already prepared for his sister and twisted his body in her direction, avoiding her sudden attack. Why don't you show it to me? Sakakihara Suzu looked back and became unhappy. Can I show you this? Is your brother shameless? What's so nice about washing clothes? Let's go, Sakakihara stretched out a hand and used his arm to drive away her shoulders. Sakakihara Suzu is the kind of person who is extremely curious. She took advantage of Sakakihara Raku's lack of attention and poked her head to the right again. Sakakibara turned around quickly, and Sakakihara Suzu grabbed both of his arms and turned to the left. The two brothers and sisters seemed to be performing a duet, constantly testing and dodging back and forth. Okay, Raku Sakakibara couldn't bear it anymore. I'll just tell you, it's my underwear. It's the underwear I want to wash. Do you want to see these underwear too? Sakakihara Suzu suddenly lost interest in watching. She took 2 steps back, hugged the rabbit tightly and looked disgusted. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Why didn't I tell you earlier? Sakakihara Raku's veins were twitching on his forehead. Do you think I'm embarrassed to say this? Yes, what are you sorry for? Excuse me, how about you wash my underwear? No. I don't want it. What a pervert, Stinky Lele. How can any pervert ask his sister to wash his underwear? What are you talking about? Didn't you say what are you sorry for? That's a pervert. What about the fact that I washed your underwear with my own hands when you were a child? That's all. Sakaki Harasuzu blushed and dodges her eyes. Finally, she could only close her eyes and shout, those are all things that happened when I was a child. Don't talk about it now. Then let me tell you one more thing. When you were a child, I not only peed on you, but also gave you a bath, Sakakibara recalled, but what did you say? It seems that when you heard you wanted to take a bath, you called me to help you quickly. Help you quickly? She was shouting very happily. You. Asuzu, are you trying to deny it? Raku Sakakibara smiled. I still remember that Suzu-chan was still washing her hair at that time, and said to her brother very cutely, I will always remember the good things about my brother. Stop talking. Stop talking. What? That's not okay. I still remember that Ailing got into my arms in the middle of the night. Sakaki Harasuzu was ashamed and embarrassed because she completely remembered what happened before. But these things. These things. Ah. Sakaki Harasuzu was going crazy. No more. Stinky Lele is so annoying. He will talk about things from his childhood. Sakakibara Raku. Ah. What for? I don't want to deal with you anymore. Suzu Sakaki Haro let out an angry hum and angrily stepped on her slippers and returned to her room. Sakaki Hararaku estimated that she ran to bed, covered her head with the quilt and rolled around. Aling likes this when she is shy. Forget it, just ignore her and let her be shy alone. Sakakibara's eyes returned to the washing tub. The pants inside were soaked in washing powder and had completely lost their special smell. But even so. I really want to die, I really want to die, I really want to die. Sakakibara put the hot water on and rubbed his pants frantically with an extremely depressed mood. After eating in the morning, follow the daily rhythm of changing into school uniforms, packing school bags, getting ready to go out and enter school. Sakakibara wanted to wash her hands again. As soon as she came out of the bedroom, she saw Amami Nanamajetsu, who had finished breakfast and opened the refrigerator and took out a bag of iced potato chips to eat. A look of disgust. No, I can't go see her. Sakakibara didn't want to see her, but due to his brother's obligations, he felt that he still needed to remind her. Ahem, Chi Minjio, don't eat iced potato chips after eating in the morning. Your stomach will get cold easily. 50% of the luncheon meat and lean meat porridge you fried in the morning was eaten by my sister-in-law. You ate the remaining 20%, and my sister and I only ate 15% each. My sister can bear the hunger, but I can't. Then you said you were full for breakfast. Just polite words. Do you think my sister will be embarrassed to ask my brother to restart the stove again? Tian Haikimingyu continued, if I had asked you for more food in that situation, it would have seemed like I was inferior to my sister. So that's the logic. Sakakibara couldn't help but shudder after hearing this. The two sisters are really scary now. Even if you have breakfast, you still have to compete secretly. Sakaki Hararaku was really afraid that one day the two of them would have to fight each other. Then you eat less, You have said so much, now you have to answer me a question. Tian Haikimingyu interrupted him. What? Why don't you dare to look at me? Run away quickly. Sakaki Hararaku immediately knew what he should do now. If Chi Minjio knew that she had an erotic dream because of her, wouldn't she be laughed to death? Looking for a random excuse, Sakakibara returned to his room neatly. The second day of the cultural festival. Sakakibara Raku didn't stand at the school gate for long when Amami Nanamajetsu, who was also handing out flyers like him, appeared next to him. That almost coquettish appearance and long hair make Sakakibara feel like standing on pins and needles today. Tian Hikaiminyu didn't speak after the arrival. The two of them just stood on the ginkgo tree slope in front of the school, looking at the blocks in the distance, the pedestrians passing by, and the trams speeding by on the overpass. It was quiet for about 10 minutes. The 7 bright moons in the sky followed the wind and stroked the long hair beside her ears. She was the first to break the inexplicable silence between the two. Are you thinking about the maid costume? Ha! You keep your eyes on the 2 maids in front. After being reminded by Nanami, Sakakibara Raku realized that there were indeed 2 maids in front of them, and they were girls in their class. Don't worry, I will never wear such shameful clothes. Even if my sister wants to wear them for you, I will never wear them. Ha! It's hard to say so absolutely, Chi Minjio. The music club's cultural festival performance starts tomorrow. Huh? Ah, yes. Playing dumb? You know what I'm talking about. Because of the erotic dream, Sakakibara didn't want to look at her face. He deliberately puffed up his chest and said, "You want me to go to the piano room to practice those songs for a while, right?" Tian Hikaiminyu affirmed his answer by default, and did not look at him, but continued to stare at the street scene in the distance. It's a miracle for ordinary people that you can reach level 10 in 1 month. But even if it's a miracle, it's still a bit difficult to play the changed songs. There's a long piano solo in the middle of the song. I'll do it again in the afternoon. I'll help you consolidate it, and I hope you won't waste my time teaching you for a month. Oh, Sakakibara Raku agreed casually without even looking at her. This guy. Tian Hikaiminyu remained calm on the surface, but frowned inwardly. He didn't even look at himself today, he looked very cold. Could it be that his sister blew some wind in his ears? Now to start officially distancing yourself? Has sister started to exert her strength? After you distribute the flyers, you have nothing to do today, right? That's right, Sakakibara responded casually, still not looking at her. I have nothing to do. Oh, that's how it is. Then, the atmosphere became awkward. Well. Tian Hikaiminyu sighed helplessly in her heart. A certain guy was sometimes a wooden fish head. Why did she meet him when she was a child? Of course Sakakibara Raku is not the kind of wooden fish head with extremely low emotional intelligence. Even if he ran out to buy watermelon juice yesterday and lost his mind, he could still take a second or two to understand the hidden meaning of Chi Minjio's words yesterday. As for why I dare not look at Kaimingyu now. This won't work. This is absolutely not okay. When he sees Chi Minjio now, he will remember the scene from yesterday. Once he remembers the scene from last night, he will have a shameful reaction. Furthermore, it will cause embarrassment in front of Tian Hikaiminyu, and even embarrassment when seeing Julie Yulai. Sakakibara Raku's indifferent attitude made Amami Nanami become indifferent. The two of them were now standing at the door, like an angry and quarreling couple. Neither of them looked at each other again. However, Nanami was sensitive by nature and had a keen mind, and he soon noticed something was wrong on Sakakibara Raku's face. She found that the other party was not showing indifference to her, but was unwilling to face her. She had read a 2nd or 3rd degree in psychology and knew very well that this was a typical manifestation of a guilty conscience. Tian Hikaiminyu took advantage of the fact that there was no one on the slope in front, put down the unfinished leaflets in her hands, approached him, stretched out her right hand, and squeezed his waist hard. "Hi auntie, if you don't, you'll pinch my waist." Sakakibara reacted instantly and jumped to the side. "Are you hiding something from me?" Tian Hikaiminyu turned her head. "This, haha, how could it be possible? I don't know anything else, but I know quite well that you like to hide your embarrassment with laughter." Tian Hikaimingyu's eyes were stern. "What are you hiding from me?" Sakakibara Raku felt a little guilty because he was really afraid that this aunt would guess it. This aunt is so powerful, I have never been able to hide anything from her before. Feeling guilty, Sakakihara accidentally glanced at Amami Nanami's long black silk legs under her pleated skirt. This was an unintentional move, but it was precisely because of this unintentional move that Tian Haikaiminyu captured it in an instant. Are you looking at your legs? I don't. Tian Haikaiminyu only glanced at his face twice. Did you secretly use my things? No. Absolutely not. You stole the stockings I wore last night. Absolutely, 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 absolutely nothing. Sakakibara was sure of his words and was 100% serious, but he still didn't want to look at Amami Nanami's face. He was afraid that he would think of the lingering scene from last night again. The look on Tian Haikaimingyu's face was disgusted, but she would still look at him. Such actions of course led to further suspicion in Tian Haikaimingyu. She hugged her breasts, held her delicate chin with her slender fingers, and looked at him with her innocent face that almost made everyone around her turn pale. I understand. Could it be that you secretly fantasize about me at night and then use it to satisfy your own physiological needs? Sakakibara's pupils opened sharply. At the end of the day, her guess was very close to the truth. This made Raku Sakakibara feel nothing but panic. Tian Haikaiminyu saw his reaction, and a rare smile appeared from the heart. It seems that I guessed it right. Absolutely not. That's not the case at all. A tough talk, right? It's really not true, I promise. Your guarantee has very little credibility for me. I only believe the facts that I see in front of me. After being exposed what he was thinking, Sakakihara Raku lost his nerve. Although he has never had similar behavior in a subjective sense. But this erotic dream can be regarded as the subconscious using Kaimingyu to fantasize, right? Long legs, slender waist, small belly button, white with pink, and skin as smooth and dense as milk. Coupled with her flaxen hair and her cold and arrogant face, she seemed to be there. Damn it, why do you think about it again? It's like this is rooted in my head and won't go away at all. I don't think you may have the guts, and with your personality you wouldn't be able to do such a thing, but I'm sure now that you have fantasies about me. Sakakibara Raku, Amami Nanamijetsu called out his full name. She still stood quietly on the spot. Do you still think that you are devoted to your sister? This is not cheating at all, and it doesn't mean anything. Sakakibara kept sighing in his heart, and thought about what good words he could use to refute Nanamayu. However, while thinking, Sakakibara glanced at Tian Haikaiminyu and noticed a faint look of embarrassment on her face. What's wrong with you? It's okay. Tian Haikaiminyu frowned slightly and held his lower abdomen with one hand. It looks like you have a stomachache because of that bag of cold potato chips you had in the morning? Did you eat something bad? Or is it because your aunt is here? Sakakihara Raku didn't expect that his casual words would actually attract the cold eyes of Amami Nanami, who stabbed him fiercely. What can Sakakihara Raku say? It seems that he really guessed it right. Chi Minjiu is really the aunt here. It was cold in November, so she ate hot food and then immediately ate cold food, plus her aunt. Triple debuff. Chi Minjiu is definitely not feeling well right now. Sakakihara sighed and took the initiative to take one of her hands. What you do? Help, you have to go to the infirmary now. I'm afraid you won't be able to walk. Although I'm not a girl, I know that girls sometimes feel uncomfortable. Aren't you devoted to your sister wholeheartedly? Tian Haikaimingyu's expression became increasingly uncomfortable. Sakakibara quickly supported her. That's right, but Nanamijiu, first of all, in addition to the relationship that you like me, we are also sworn brothers and sisters. As brothers, it is natural to take care of you. Okay, let's go now. Anyway, there are so many tourists on the playground, no one will pay attention to you. Scumbag. Tian Haikaimingyu's pink lips raised slightly, and she spoke two pleasant and subtle words to him. What kind of scumbag is this? Do you really want me to leave him alone? For you and your sister, wouldn't it be better to just leave me alone now? Amami Nanamijiyo actually understands Sakakibara Raku's difficulties. With his current status, there was no way he could completely ignore either her or her sister. Okay, don't talk so much about your stomachache. I'm taking care of you as an elder brother. I wouldn't think so. That's your business. Sakakibara took off his suit jacket and handed it to her, but I won't carry you on my back this time. You should still be able to walk if you don't want anyone to see you like this. I'll cover your head with this jacket, help you over. There was another cramping pain in the stomach, and the cold air seemed to have entered the bone marrow, making the whole body chill, and the intestines and stomach also contracted tightly. Tian Haikaimingyu's body gradually softened. She frowned deeply and fell into a half-crouched position. Are you okay? Can you still walk? What do you think? You can't walk after hearing this sound. Forget it, I'll carry you there again. Brother is really an air conditioner. He couldn't help but relent when he saw me being affected. But I don't hate it, because no matter what, my sister lost to me in this aspect. Okay, stop talking and come up. Tian Haikaiminyu once again saw his back squatting towards her. She stretched out her hand to cover the back of his head with his suit jacket, and put her hand on his back. After feeling the warmth and solidity conveyed from his back, Tian Haikaiminyu leaned her head up, and the hand shrunk in front of her chest, pulled the suit jacket covering her head to cover her face. Are you sitting still? Sakaki Hararaku could hear that she was really feeling uncomfortable behind her back. Why do you feel that Chi-Minjio's body is so weak? Even though Amami Nanamijetsu had a coat covering her back and her face could not be seen clearly from the outside, in order to avoid the school's gossip, Sakakibara made a special circle and ran towards the infirmary at a brisk pace. The moment he stepped onto the stairs to the infirmary, Tian Haikaiminyu seemed to have something strange behind him. He could clearly feel her hand grabbing his shoulder. What's wrong? There was silence at first, and then she scratched her shoulder again. Sthan, Tian Haikaiminyu said from behind with her weak voice. You bring that? No. What? Sanitary napkin. Isn't it bleeding? Sakaki Hararaku immediately felt his waist being squeezed. But this time it's not so heavy, because Tian Haikaiminyu doesn't have much strength now. However, Sakakibara Raku soon understood what Tenkai Nanamiyu meant. She was calling herself a straight man, she knew it and she said it out loud. Conscience of heaven and earth. He just blurted it out of habit. I have to say, it's really not easy for girls. Sometimes. You're annoying. I'm used to it, you all say I'm a person without emotional intelligence. Now I am. Well, that's the question I just asked. With all due respect, Chi-Minjio, do you think any boy would bring this thing? Then, Sakaki Hararaku was twisted again. It doesn't hurt, and the strength is so soft that it feels strangely warm. But very strange. What does she mean? Didn't you understand what she meant? About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tio Yu Lan. Chapter 184. Through the door curtain of the infirmary, Sakakibara Raku could see Amami Nanamijetsu sitting inside. She has a smooth face and thin lips, slender shoulders, and slim waist. She is looking bright and beautiful. She is supporting the bed with one hand and pinching the arm supporting the bed with the other hand. She has a coat covering her legs. There is obviously a slight pain on her cheeks. Colorful, but those eyes were calm and lifeless, and seemed to be holding back something. Why don't you lie down? Sakakibara, who only had a white shirt and a cardigan on, glanced at her outside, then opened the door and walked in. I bought it for you. Tianhai Kaimingyu raised her face after hearing his voice. At this moment, her eyes seemed to have obviously changed. The school doctor hasn't come yet. Sakakibara held the sanitary napkin in both hands and looked around the infirmary, but did not see the shadow of the school doctor. I don't know. Tianhai Chi-minjiu had just finished saying this, and her tone paused again. Is it starting to hurt again? Sakakihara focused his attention on her body again. Then lie down. It will feel more comfortable if you lie down. Now is not a good time to lie down. Why? Tianhai Kaimingyu only gave him a look of understanding. Almost forgot. The current Kaimingyu is the bleeding Kaimingyu. If you lie down, it will leak from your side. Tianhai Kaimingyu frowned and glared at him. What are you thinking about? Bring it over quickly. I'm really not thinking wildly. You did it on purpose, right? Sakakibara Raku couldn't afford to offend this aunt. If she offended her in this school, she had plenty of ways to get people out. Sakakibara quickly handed over the sanitary napkin he just bought. I bought you a cotton net. Tianhai Kaimingyu glanced at it and said, do you know you want to buy this model? Well, this is embarrassing to say. When I left, you didn't say anything. I went to the convenience store, so I could only ask the clerk how to buy sanitary napkins. The clerk was a woman and knew that I wanted to buy sanitary napkins. Look. The look in my eyes is weird. I would say it's normal to help girls buy sanitary napkins. Did she ask you if you had a girlfriend? I asked. You answer. No. Tianhai Kaimingyu's thin lips parted slightly. What an idiot. Of course Sakakihara Raku knew the connection. If you are wearing a school uniform and say you don't have a girlfriend and you come here to buy menstrual sanitary napkins, you will most likely be misunderstood by the other party as some kind of pervert who has special needs for female products. So I said I bought it for my female classmate. Well, then this female classmate has a really good relationship with you, and she is willing to let a boy buy this kind of thing for her. Tianhai Chi-minjiu looked at him and sighed helplessly. Okay, please help me close the bed curtain. Sakakibara looked at her slightly uncomfortable face and the sanitary napkin in her hand, and said in surprise. Wait, you don't want to change here, do you? Tianhai Kaimingyu no longer had the cold temperament before. As if she was enduring something, she blushed slightly and said, then can you carry me to the women's room? This will definitely not work. There will definitely be people everywhere during the cultural festival. So, please help me close the bed curtain first, thank you. At this point, Sakakihara Raku could only help according to her wishes. He closed the bed curtain and heard the movement inside. Through the thin gauze curtain, Sakakihara Raku could even see the shadow of Nanamayu starting to deal with it. And then, of course you can't stand in front of the bed anymore. Knowing what Chi-minjiu was doing inside, Sakakihara Raku still kept watching, which was embarrassing to death. Turn around, Tianhai Kaimingyu said through the gauze curtain, with a commanding tone. Of course I know this. Sakakihara turned around. Or do you want to watch me change my sanitary napkin? I don't have this habit. Then agree to date me. It's not impossible to show you what's under the skirt. I'm telling you, Chi-minjiu, if you have a stomachache, don't make such jokes. Did you lust after me last night? Sakakibara Raku's old face suddenly lost his composure and coughed twice. It was a spring dream. It's different. Isn't it just sexual immorality? Miss Tianhai, do you know how popular you are in school? I have often heard boys talking about you and Julie Yulai in private. There are thousands of people in the school. Do you think anyone has ever fantasized about you? I'm being criticized for this. What are you comparing them to? Can you compare with them? Why can't we compare? I am also an ordinary man. You really can't blame me, Sakakibara muttered softly. Having said that, Sakakihara Raku now wants to find a crack in the ground and burrow into it. The heroine in the erotic dream found out about her erotic dream, but she was still the kind of person who looked at everyone coldly. Shouldn't this be labeled as a big pervert? Sakakibara suddenly felt that he had no shame to stand in front of Amami Nanami. So, Sakakibara couldn't sit still and started looking for the school doctor's contact information in the school doctor's office. Sakakihara looked through drawers, medicine cabinets, folders, workbooks, and visiting student lists, but still couldn't find the school doctor's contact information. During this time, the sound of tape being peeled off could also be heard. "What are you doing?" Raku Sakakibara couldn't help but think, well, he must be unpacking a new sanitary napkin and replacing it. Chi Minjio seems to be bleeding so much that she doesn't want to lie down. That blood was probably a bit too much. Are you afraid that you are really a pervert? What do you want to do? Come here, a girl's voice came from inside, a bit gritty. How? Is there a trash can? Garbage can? Trash can, trash can. Sakakihara turned around and took a look at the school doctor's office. I have to say, what a shabby school doctor's office. Not only is there no school nurse, there isn't even a trash can. Unfortunately, no, he replied, turning around. There was obviously silence inside the bed curtain for a long time. Then throw it away for me. What? What are you throwing? What do you think was thrown? If you buy your own sanitary napkins and use them in Chi Minjio, then naturally what you have to throw away is the used sanitary napkins. Sakakibara was ashamed. Can't you throw it away yourself? If I can throw it myself, why don't I throw it myself? The crux of the matter is dash. Amami Nanamijetsu's voice suddenly stopped as if she was feeling ashamed, but Sakakibara felt uncomfortable hearing the unfinished words, and her head felt hot, so he helped her to finish the words. Too much blood. Dot. Dot. As soon as these words were spoken, the atmosphere seemed to become awkward. Tianhai Kaimingyu Tiskin sighed, feeling like she was holding back something. You still want to say it? What's the point? Anyway, there are only two of us now, ahem. Others can't hear it, so it doesn't matter, ha ha ha. Sakakibara suddenly remembered that Nanamijo seemed to be the kind of person who would blush when she saw half of her belly exposed. The little devil who likes to tease people is unexpectedly pure. Wrong. A few nights ago, she was able to take off her clothes on her own initiative. There is no shyness in front of him. This is very contradictory. Sakakibara was so conflicted that he didn't know what to say. How about I find you a garbage bag? Whatever you want, if you can find it. Garbage bags, garbage bags. Not only are there no trash cans in the dilapidated medical room, but even the garbage bags are white. This thing should never be used to hold that thing. Fortunately, there were black plastic bags in the cafe in their class. Sakakibara had no choice but to quickly return to the classroom. It took a total of 5 minutes to get 2 black plastic garbage bags and handed them to Amami Nanamiya behind the bed curtain. There was a rustling sound inside as Tokyo packed up her things. Not long after the 7 bright moons in the sky and sea, the gauze curtain was opened. She kept her blushing face on her face and hid the garbage bag she just gave her and the sanitary napkin she bought for her behind her back. Tianhai Kaimingyu found that he had been staring at her. You can laugh if you want. What's so funny about this? The physiological phenomena are so normal. Sakakibara knew that menstrual pain plus stomach pain would definitely not be that pleasant. Wouldn't it be interesting for you to see me feeling uncomfortable? Chi, I'm not that kind of person. Does your stomach still hurt? I just feel a little better. Tianhai Chi Minjio sat on the hospital bed without looking at him. Sakakibara stood up and began to look for pills in the medicine cabinet in the school doctor's office, and explained at the same time. Just now when I went to help you find garbage bags, I asked the shift supervisor if she knew the school nurse's phone number. She told me, and then I called the school nurse. Unfortunately, the school nurse said that she was outside processing her medical materials now, and she didn't have it yet. I told her your symptoms when I went back to school, and she said, just give you some ibuprofen and tianhaiweisan, and if you feel any other discomfort, please contact her. After searching all the way to the third row, Sakakibara finally finished looking for ibuprofen and amkivison. Raku Sakakibara boiled some hot water with a kettle and counted the dosage of the pills. The pills and the bowl filled with hot water were put on a small cart and pushed together in front of Tianhai Kaimingyu. Here, you need to take the medicine. Wait until the hot water cools down a bit before you take it. The hot water rises upwards in small amounts of steam. The counted pills were placed quietly beside the bowl of hot water. Seeing this, Tianhai Chi Minjiu didn't know why she remembered the situation when he carried her on his back just now. Tianhai Kaimingyu covered her stomach with one hand, staring inexplicably at her reflection in the bowl that fluctuated with the heat, and said in a low voice, "Scumbag." "Ah. Scumbag," Tianhai Kaimingyu repeated. "Kyo, I'm really concerned about you. It's because you care that you are a scumbag. You are always nice to others, but don't give people corresponding expectations. This makes people mistakenly think that you are only nice to her. According to Chi Minjiu, do you want me to abandon you on the playground? You know what I don't like the most is to see this kind of thing happen in front of my eyes. I hate seeing the people around me being ignored the most. I know what I said. It's a bit funny, because the incident with Julie Yulai obviously happened not long ago, but I figured it out afterwards. It was just a childish act on my impulse. It was too childish, so I chose to make peace with Julie Yulai. This was not just forgiveness. She also reminded me of my previous childish behavior. Since you said so, don't blame me for what I did." Tianhai Kaimingyu blew on the hot water and drank the medicine he prepared for herself in a few gulps. "I'm not blaming you, on the contrary, I'm very grateful that you like me." Sakakihara turned his eyes to the side and said with a smile, "Who wouldn't be happy to be liked by a beautiful girl? It's just from my perspective. I still hope you can live in harmony with Julie Yulai." "Live in harmony? Do you expect me to turn a blind eye when I see you and your sister having sex with each other? You have to understand that women are always jealous. In my opinion, Chi Minjiu, you are the least jealous person, with an indifferent attitude toward everything." "That's right, but I only care about one thing. I will also become jealous because of you." These words silenced Sakakibara Raku. In his impression, Chi-Chi was either a naughty little devil or a high-altitude flower who seemed very lonely in school. But no matter what, she has her own self-esteem, and it is absolutely impossible for her to say such things to others. But now she said it out loud. Tianhai Kaimingyu's lowered eyebrows glowed, and in the silence between the two parties, she continued, "I will be unhappy because you stay with your sister all the time. I will be dissatisfied because you get along with other girls. I will be unhappy because of you. You feel uncomfortable holding hands with your sister. Otherwise, why do you think I stopped you and your sister from kissing that night?" Sakakihara Raku became quiet, and he lowered his voice and shouted, "Nana Minjiu. Are you pitying me? If you pity me, then agree to date me and leave my sister alone." Amamai Nanamajetsu's words were so humble that Sakakibara Raku felt very uncomfortable. But he still answered the same. "Impossible." Why? Nanamai couldn't help but feel uncomfortable in her heart. She knew why, but she wanted to hear Sakakibara Raku say it herself. It's up to him to deny himself. Julie Yulai also needs support. It's that simple. It's that simple, and I can't remember anything from my childhood. For me, Julie Yulai did come first. On this point, I have a clear conscience. Don't you think it's ridiculous? Tianhai Kaimingyu's tone has become less indifferent, it's obvious that you have forgotten what happened before. Chi Minjai, I don't think I would have given you any promise to marry you when I was a child, right? And purely from this point of view, no one will take what happened when I was a child seriously. Aling also said that she would marry her brother in the future, but she also knows that this is something she said when she was young, and no one would take it seriously. So, I'm the only one who takes it seriously. That's right. Sorry. Tian Hai Kaimingyu was silent. She didn't refute or get angry. She just said, that's just you. Sakakibara Raku continued, Auntie is coming to visit in the next 2 days, Julie. You know Julie's situation? My aunt has had a great influence on her. I will never be able to do such a thing and abandon her. Besides, Chi Minjai, look at me, I am useless except for cooking. Is a person like me worthy of you doing this? Snapped. A pillow was thrown directly into his face. Sakakibara was stunned. He reached out and took away the pillow that hid his face. Then, he saw the stern and serious expression of Amamai Nanamajetsu in front of him. Chi Minjai. Amamai Nanamai took a breath and grasped the pleated skirt on her legs with both hands. She stared at Sakakibara Raku. In his surprise, she said seriously, Sakakibara Raku, listen carefully, I don't care what other people think. I don't care how you evaluate yourself, I just know that I fell in love with you because of the boring shit you did. Yes, you are arrogant, stupid, forgetful, and lack self-confidence. You are useless except for being good at cooking. I don't even know what your personality charm is as a man. You are scumbag and irresponsible. I never know what you said. What you say is so important to other people. You claim to be unable to see others sad, but you always make girls sad for you. But, I just like you like this. I can't help it. Who made me like you? I just like your stupid look, I like you talking back to me with words that have no emotional intelligence, and I like you running several kilometers to buy things for me. Watermelon juice. I just like how you come to me all day long and look like you care about whether I am happy or not today. So, if you deny yourself, you are also denying me as a person, do you understand? If you want to be useless, then I who like you will also be useless. Do you understand? Amamai Nanamajetsu said a lot of things to him in a way that Sakakibara Raku had never seen before. In the past, the girl had always been so quiet, showing no emotion at all. Now, just because of what he said, he got angry that was hard to suppress. But he didn't know why, even though Tian Hai Kaimingyu was scolding him and throwing pillows on his face, he felt a warm feeling of being cared for in his heart. She really likes him. Sakakibara felt this in his heart, and the pillow he just hit on his face seemed to be telling him so. He was confused. Really confused. There is a place in my heart that is touched, and that touched place is telling me that there is someone who really likes me. She doesn't despise herself, her lack of outstanding advantages, and she doesn't even despise herself for doing something embarrassing like having an erotic dream about her. But what should I do? What should I do with my feelings for Julie Yulai? Amamai Nanamajetsu is a very decent person. Her movements and her dress tell Raku Sakakibara that she has received a very high level of education. She is also quite smart, much smarter than herself. She will not accept the half-heartedness of the person she likes. But if he abandons his relationship with Julie Yulai because someone likes him, then he is a half-hearted person. Fundamentally speaking, the current relationship between the two is contradictory. Tian Hai Kaimingyu noticed his silence, held a hand and said to him, I don't say this to put pressure on you, and you don't need to think too much. There is no need to think of being responsible because of my words. If someone likes you, you don't need to be responsible for the person who likes you. Chi Minjai. Even though this is the case, she is still taking the initiative to help herself relieve stress. Sakakibara laughed as hard as he could and said, "Yes, that's true, but that's just the way I am. If someone treats me well, it's inevitable that I will feel sympathy. I don't need your sympathy." Tianhai Kaimingyu's eyes were cold. "I will always fight for myself." "Well, Grandma, you only like to fight for yourself. You are really arrogant." The infirmary was quiet, and the atmosphere between the two seemed to have eased a lot as time passed. When it came to emotional choices, neither of them spoke again. For now, because neither of them has a good solution. Tianhai Kaimingyu did not reach the point where Tianhai Yuli could give up voluntarily. "After taking the medicine, is your stomach feeling better?" "It's just a little better." "Well, it seems it's starting to work." After so many words were correct, Sakakibara Raku could still see that Nanami was reluctantly in the same room with him. For girls, changing sanitary napkins in front of boys is a shameful thing, right? Sakakibara Raku also saw that she put the black plastic bag and the new sanitary napkin that had been torn out of the package where he could not see it. "It's not good for him to stay here now." "Well, now that you've taken the medicine and your condition is a little better, I'll leave first. Anyway, I guess you don't want to see me here now. You can rest in the infirmary for a while. The school doctor told us, and she let us use the bed as we please." After Sakakibara finished speaking, he turned around and wanted to leave. "Wait a moment. Did I tell you to leave?" Sakakibara raised his shoulders and smiled. "The problem is, it's useless for me to stay here. You've also taken the medicine, so you just need to rest." Tianhai Kaimingyu closed her eyes, then stretched out a hand and gently patted the other side of her bed. "Sit over here." Sakakibara was skeptical. "Aren't you going to forcefully kiss me again?" "To be honest, this behavior is too much, really too much. As a man, you were forced to kiss me 3 times. Are you embarrassed to say that?" "Hey, I'm the victim. Please don't put the label of useless on my head, please. I just like your useless look. Now I really want to see you when I take off your clothes. I want to see if your body is as hard as your mouth." Isn't it? Did she really think about taking off her own clothes? "Are you afraid that what you had last night was not a precognitive dream?" "Sit here." Tianhai Kaimingyu patted her side gently again. Her voice became much calmer. "Why? This is a contract, have you forgotten? You said it yourself, and you must meet my requirements within 3 years. Are you going to break your promise? I helped you take down your sister, and you are going to burn the bridge across the river. Cruel enough." Sakakibara Raku didn't want to agree, but now Nanami seems to have magic power. With her face closed and concentrating, the gesture of gently patting the side of the bed to invite her, and her slightly cold demeanor. She seemed really uncomfortable. And because of the principle of being trustworthy, he had no choice but to agree. "Let's make an agreement first. You are not allowed to do that to me this time. Do you think I care about you? Then you still do that to me. It's just to make my sister jealous. Don't you think it feels good to kiss your sister's boyfriend in front of her? Is this considered a woman's vanity? Of course, if you had hummed me in front of my sister that night, I would have been even happier." "No, no, stop talking." Sakakibara quickly stopped her from continuing. "What grudge do you 2 sisters have? Aren't they sisters who love each other forever? Why are you stabbing your sister in the back now?" Some of the little devil's words cannot be taken seriously, absolutely cannot be taken seriously. Sakakibara sighed deeply and sat down. "Let's talk about it first. I'm just letting you lean on me as an elder brother. You're not allowed to touch or. Thanks." Tianhai Kaimingyu saw him sitting over and said in a warm tone that was completely different from just now. Sakakibara didn't react. Was she saying thank you? Why say thank you? Logically speaking, Chi Minjiu is not the kind of person who is too cold and arrogant to say thank you. Thinking back carefully, it seems that Tian Hai Kaimingyu does have the habit of saying thank you. She will say thank you if you help her make potato chips and fried rice seriously. She will say thank you when you carry her home or carry her up the mountain. She will also say thank you when you gave her a birthday gift last time. You want me to praise you as a good, polite boy. Tian Hai Kaimingyu opened her sharp eyebrows, her sky blue eyes moved slowly towards the corners, and then the corners of her eyes pierced him fiercely. Well, it seems that Chi Minjiu doesn't like this. Aling absolutely loves it. She just likes it when her brother praises her for being awesome, awesome. Sit closer and let me lean on you, I'm tired. Better say goodbye. Sakaki Haro looked very resistant. Tian Hai Kaimingyu added, as an elder brother, even if you and your sister fall in love and your sister clings to you, you will not refuse, right? Aling, she is actually quite normal now. Apart from being a little jealous because her brother was robbed, she has normal feelings towards me. Leave me close for a moment. This is an order and cannot be questioned. Sakaki Hararaku's body subconsciously wanted to obey her words. Tian Hai Kaimingyu said this and moved closer to him. Then, Sakakibara was forced to compromise. The girl rested her head on his shoulder. Sakakibara knew that he should push Nanamayu away at this time, he really should push her away. But now Chi Minjiu, after leaning on her, is like a thin leaf in the storm. She can't find any support, drifting in confusion in the rainy night. Finally, she finds someone who can protect her from the wind. The place to stay. So weak that it makes people feel lovable. Under such circumstances, he still had to forcefully push her out into the cold rainy night. Sakaki Hararaku really couldn't do such a cruel thing. He began to understand what Aling said about his central air conditioner. It was very annoying, but it made people reluctant to leave. If Julie Yulai likes her, it's just because he treats her well and gives her a place to rely on and act coquettishly. So let's talk about Kaimingyu. She probably likes more than just the warm air blowing from the air conditioner on her body. She has known herself since she was a child, which shows that she has accumulated a good impression of herself since she was a child. His previous contact with her was never as close as it is now, and there must have been something she liked about his past self. What exactly is it? Sakaki Hara guessed that this was probably something he was not even aware of, but due to memory loss since childhood, he couldn't remember it now. Or lost. The heating and air conditioning in the infirmary is blowing, making the body warm, and the comfortable atmosphere can't help but make people feel a little sleepy. Thoughts abounded, and Kaimingyu in the sky and sea seemed to be sleeping peacefully on his shoulder. Her legs were still covered with the coat he had just given her to cover her face. Her face, Sakaki Hara thought, must be the deep attachment that Juliuli felt lying on her chest after venting her emotions in her arms. She wanted to getting close, wanting to hold each other, wanting to feel the warmth wrapped around each other. It's just that unlike Tianhai Juliuli, she doesn't have such a strong dependence on her. Instead, they kept a vague distance. As she said, it was just a shoulder to lean on, so that the pain in her heart could be dumped in a direction. If you want to ask why, I am afraid that Nanamai knows that Sakaki Bararaku still doesn't like her. The request to lean on him for a while was just that she was using her identity as a foster sister to seek even a little bit of warmth from him. A little bit of warmth can be seen from the wholehearted treatment of Julie Yulai. Afterwards, Tianhai Kaimingyu's head fell on his lap unconsciously while she was sleeping. Sakakibara didn't know why he didn't wake her up. Instead, he thought it was good for her to sleep against him like this. Are you really a scumbag? No, it's not. Aling himself also let her sleep on his lap like this. The nature of Kaimingyu is also exactly the same as hers. Yes. That's right. Sakakibara deceived herself like this, and pulled her school uniform jacket that was covering Nanami-Nanami's legs, and then put the jacket on her arm, gently covering her shoulders. Such a small one. Sakakibara looked at her sleeping face and thought to herself. He suddenly discovered that Tianhai Kaimingyu, who usually kept a distance from everyone and treated everyone with a cold and expressionless face, was actually sleeping peacefully on his lap at this moment. Sakakibara sighed again. He knew that he should decisively cut off relations with Chi Minjiu. But no matter how hard she cuts, she won't care. Moreover, could he really ignore her completely? I and my two sisters not only have relationships with men and women, but at the same time, we are also sworn brothers and sisters, and we are family members. This made it impossible for Sakaki Hararaku to say such heartless words to Chi Minjiu. How should I handle it? How can we handle the relationship between the two sisters harmoniously while maintaining the relationship between ourselves and their families? Sakakibara was confused. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tio Yu Lan. Chapter 185. About half an hour later, Sakaki Hararaku found that Amami Nanamayu, who was sleeping on his body, showed signs of waking up. Woke up. I'm awake. Nanami propped up her body, lowered her head slightly, and looked at Raku Sakakibara, who was standing aside with her delicate and slightly red face. One bundle of flaxen hair fell over the shoulder on the left side, and the other bundle fell straight down like a willow on the right side. At this moment, her eyes were not as emotionless as before, but contained a little bit of her innermost thoughts deep down, as if she was carefully examining whether the potato chips that had been placed deep in the refrigerator for a long time were still edible. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Sakaki Hara suddenly felt a little embarrassed under her gaze. Cannot see. Of course you can look at it as you wish, but I feel like the look in your eyes makes me want to turn my head. You are so shy. Tianhai Chi Minjiu raised her chin and made this comment to him. Can this be considered shy? Sakaki Hararaku didn't want to appear weak in front of her at all. After all, he was an older brother. But he didn't have much confidence in what he said. If you want to avoid my gaze, you are naturally shy. Tianhai Kaimingyu withdrew her gaze. She closed her eyes and was silent for a long time. Then she returned to her usual attitude that made others inaccessible. Remember to come to the piano practice room this afternoon. I will help you review the music you are going to perform. Aren't you feeling sick to your stomach? It's better now. Then it's better to rest, Sakakibara said. Are you concerned about me? Isn't this what we should do? As an older brother, I care about you. Tianhai Kaimingyu said nothing, just stared at him and looked at him. Sakakibara suddenly felt a little afraid to stay with Nanami because of what she just said to him. He seemed to have strange feelings for her. Tianhai Kaimingyu is a person who is cold to everyone. When others talk to her, she doesn't bother to say more than a few words to them. But such a person will tell himself that he likes you. Sakakibara looked at Nanami again. At this moment, she closed her eyes and concentrated, and her posture was so upright that only the word serious remained. Let's go. She stood up and walked towards the door. Don't you want to rest for a while? The school doctor said you'd better rest more. Amami Nanami stopped at the door. She crossed her arms and looked at Sakakibara Raku with squinting eyes. You have rested long enough and gained a lot this time. You also made me confirm that you are indeed a scumbag. As I said, I am taking care of you as an elder brother. Tianhai Kaimingyu said calmly, you can lie to me, but how can you lie to yourself? But I can also understand you, you are confused, right? After all, my sister and I look exactly the same, and we are mixed with the relationship of sworn brothers and sisters. In addition, do you want to completely cut off the properties of your central air conditioner? It's basically impossible. Tian Hai Kaiming, you look towards the corridor, and it doesn't matter that you are a scumbag, it means that I am not completely inferior to my sister. I look forward to the day when you cheat. The girl put aside these words, stepped forward, and left the infirmary. Sakakihara came and looked at her long flaxen hair disappearing from the window of the infirmary, and he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. On the question of whether he is a scumbag, he could only answer, yes, indeed. But cheating? Absolutely impossible. But confused. He was really confused and didn't know what he should do now. Sakakihara couldn't help but think. If you really want to choose Julie Yulai, you should completely cut off contact with Chi Minjiao. She had a stomachache at the school gate just now, so he shouldn't have carried her back. She should be left alone on the playground. Anyway, sooner or later a teacher would find her squatting there, unable to walk. But ask yourself, can he do it? Can you leave Chi Minjiao in that situation on the playground and let her suffer alone without helping her? This thing seems to be getting worse the more I think about it. Wait, maybe go to your uncle, let him know about this, and then use his intervention to make Chi Minjiao voluntarily give up her thoughts on herself. This is indeed an idea. It seems feasible. But Sakakibara felt secretly that his uncle seemed to have no control over Tian Hai Kaimingyu. The uncle had been ashamed of the two sisters since he was a child, and he also told himself that he would not interfere with his daughter's feelings. This is really difficult to handle. Forget it, let's go. Sakakihara sat beside the bed in the infirmary and thought about this. He was about to get up when his eyes glanced back unconsciously. He suddenly realized that she had not taken away the sanitary napkins he bought for Chi Minjiao, not only the sanitary napkins, but also the black plastic bag she used to put the garbage in. And inside the black plastic bag, there seemed to be a white lace strip. Oh, maybe it's stained with blood and makes it uncomfortable to wear. So I took it off. I can understand. I understand. Etc. Sakakihara's pupils trembled. Fat Ci is here, so that means. The next second, Sakakibara suddenly turned around when he sensed something. At this moment, he happened to find Nanami standing at the door. Sakakihara Raku was stared at by her straight sky blue eyes, and subconsciously raised his hands. She seemed to be back to get something. Tian Hai Kaimingyu walked in with the light on her back. She was not busy grabbing the plastic bag she left behind and the sanitary napkin bag that had only been used for 2 sheets. Instead, he came to Sakakihara Raku expressionlessly. When her jade straight legs stood up straight again, the hem of her pleated skirt was still swaying lightly. No, why are you raising your hands? I didn't do anything wrong. Sakakibara put his hand down again. Have you seen the inside? Tian Hai Chi Minjiao glanced at the black plastic bag. I said no, do you believe it? I know you know. Sakakibara quickly raised his hands and declared, don't worry, I won't talk nonsense about this kind of thing. However, didn't you just have dysmenorrhea? Shouldn't you put the sanitary napkin on? I went to get something from my sister. I don't want to explain what I got, but my sister has it. 2 Of course I can put it on, but you also saw the condition of something, and I don't want to wear it. Amami Nanamajetsu's answer left Sakakibara at a loss as to what to say. Do you want to see it? What do you want to see? Amami Nanamajetsu kept a certain distance from Sakakibara Raku, and lifted up a corner of her skirt as if to deliberately cause trouble. The white and shiny skin on the inner thighs is clearly visible. Under the skirt, she said in an indifferent voice while looking at Sakakibara Raku. Seeing the pair of slender legs under the pleated skirt, Sakakihara swallowed. Sakakibara Raku is very clear about the current state of Tenkai Nanamagetsu. As long as you say you want to see it, I can show it to you. Sakakibara understands quite well that Nanamijiu is such a confident person. He couldn't admit defeat now. I saw it, what price do I have to pay? There is no cost, you can just say you want to see it. Sakakibara smiled and said, you are looking down on me these days, Nanamayuki. I was not moved by you before when you stripped down to just a few pieces of underwear on my bed. How can I still be moved by your little trick? Tian Haikaiminyu raised her skirt directly. Okay, Grandma, I lost. Sakakibara quickly reached out to cover his forehead. Don't want to read it? I won't lose a piece of meat if I read it. That's what I say, but I'm really not the kind of person who has no bottom line. No matter what I say, I have to be responsible for you. Look, it's really not good. Then why aren't you responsible for my first kiss? Tian Haikaiminyu put down her skirt. That means you forced me to kiss me, okay. Can it be the same if you kiss me upside down? Tian Haiminju's cell phone suddenly rang. She took it out of her coat pocket and glanced at the information on the screen. Chi Minjiu, have you finished distributing the flyers? It's my sister. Amami Nanamagetsu raised her phone with both hands and took a photo of Sakakibara Raku, who was sitting beside the bed. In Tianhai Julie Yuli's line chat interface, I checked the picture I just took and clicked to send. Sakakibara Raku was confused. Why are you taking pictures? Send it to my sister. What it means is that you are now being used by me. My sister is so busy. She runs between the class cafe and the Kyoto club. She doesn't have time to visit the cultural festival. Isn't it impossible for her boyfriend to lend it to me? After all, she is idle. No, it must be her ex-boyfriend. You haven't gotten back together yet, Tian Haikaiminyu said calmly. Sakakibara didn't know what to say and could only laugh. Why doesn't this wonderful cultural festival stop? By the way, I still want to thank you for what happened today. Tian Haiminju put away her phone. You said thank you. No, this time is different. I won't just say thank you verbally. Do you like maid clothes? You want to wear it? Didn't you say that you would never wear such shameful clothes? I didn't say any restrictions. Only you are special, and I only wear it for you. Tian Haikaiminyu knew what his response was at this time, so she simply didn't give him a chance to speak. She waved her hands and turned to leave. This is just my personal decision. It's up to you whether you want to or not. Sister will definitely come over later. Come on, think about it carefully and explain why it is in the same photo as the contents of the black plastic bag and the girl's sanitary napkins. Sakakibara looked back and saw what she had left behind. Grass. Got hit. The third day of the cultural festival. Unexpectedly, the number of visitors to the school today was much higher than the previous 2 days. While Sakakibara was distributing flyers, he heard several aunts and young people chattering. He briefly summarized the advantages. The architectural style of the campus is neat and comfortable, and the campus atmosphere is strong. In addition to the snack street on the playground, there are also interest experience activities carried out by various classes and clubs, and most of them only require 100 to 300 yen for admission. You can experience activities you have never had before. For example, various club activities such as stick dancing, kyoto, kendo, flower arrangement, tea ceremony, etc. Many times, when Sakakibara saw the school's cultural festival flyers, he couldn't help but marvel at the rich content of the school. Unfortunately, Raku Sakakibara had to work hard in the mornings of the previous 2 days to help with the cooking and had no time to visit this cultural festival composed of students. I wanted to call Julie Yuli, but Julie Yuli was busier than me. As the class president and director, I not only have to take care of their class's maid cafe, but also take care of the Kyoto Club's experience activities. I occasionally see her in the college. She always has long flowing hair and hasty steps. Sakakihara wanted to go up and help, but he didn't know what name he should use. A member of the Kyoto Club. I guess everyone in the Kyoto Club is still confused about his decision to withdraw from the club. Raku Sakakihara took advantage of the lounge and stood on the fourth floor of the teaching building and looked at the playground. One thing he was confused about was why he hadn't seen Aling at the cultural festival in the past 2 days. What is she doing? Lunchtime at noon on the third day. Except for the students who stayed in the classroom to guard the shop, most of the students went to the cafeteria to eat on time. Compared to the busy campus in the morning, it was much quieter at noon. On the rooftop of the teaching building, or should be the utility room 1 floor below the rooftop, Sakakihara Suzu was waiting with some embarrassment. She is still very famous in school. Because I don't want to be discovered, and I don't want to be seen wearing something so shameful as a maid outfit. Therefore, she had to wait here, waiting for her good friend, Sakai Chidano, to help her get the maid uniform. In his hand is a mobile phone with a bright screen. On the screen of the mobile phone was a photo of himself and Sakakibara Raku when they were on an outing. He stood in front of the camera, and Sakakihara Suzu stood on the flower bed behind him, holding his neck with her left hand and resting her head on his shoulder. They smiled at the camera and made a scissor hand gesture. What's so good about this guy? Why do both foxes like him? He obviously has no characteristics, he only knows how to cook, he only gives good things to himself, he only helps teach him homework, and he only comforts himself when he cries. Bastard Lele didn't even dare to fall in love before, he was just a poor guy who didn't care about him. Obviously only you care about him. Thinking about this, Sakakihara Suzu suddenly felt uncomfortable. She recently made a decision, that is, she must not let those 2 foxes and Stinky Lele get along. Julie Yulai is a big bastard, cheating on the feelings of the smelly old man. It was obviously her fault, but the bastard brother still forgave her unconditionally. Bad guy. Smelly central air conditioning. Kiming you. Not to mention kiming you. Bad woman, bad fox. The worst kind. Suzu Sakakihara has to write her name in her Chinese homework book every day, and then use a 0.38 mm gel pen to paint the name into a black rotten egg. Brother, you must not stay with such a bad woman. You don't know what she will do to you in the future. Sakakihara Suzu wanted to say these words to him, but the smelly old man seemed to be fascinated by the 2 foxes. Everything has to revolve around them. Hate. Hate. What a disgusting feeling. You obviously have a sister who you yourself say is very, very cute, so why do you still hang around them? I haven't chatted with myself recently. She even said she wanted to sing a song to him with a nice voice. It's all those 2 foxes' fault. Yes, it's all those 2 foxes' fault. However, if you wear something he likes and show it to him, he will be happy, right? Suzu-chan, are you here? Dong dong was heard twice, and Sakai Kishin's soft voice came from outside. Sakakibara Suzu opened the door of the utility room classroom and saw Chitano Sakai holding a cardboard box in her arms. Suzuki-chan, I brought you the clothes you asked for. Well, thank you Tiano. But why are you changing here? Sakakihara Suzu smiled awkwardly but politely, I'm actually a little embarrassed to wear it out, so I want to try it first. Kishano Sakai looked at her good friend's face, what kind of clothes are here? Keep it secret. I see. Sakai Chitano actually guessed that there was a high probability that it was Lolita's clothes, because Sakakihara Suzu asked her about the location of the store a few days ago. As for why Suzu-chan suddenly wore something like this that she had never worn before. Probably because of Sakakibara-kun. The brother controlled Suzu-chan. Sakai Chitano didn't know why, but her face suddenly turned a lot red. No, I can't disturb Suzu-chan here anymore. although I really want to watch Sakakibara-kun's reaction secretly in the corner. But everything still has to focus on the overall situation. Then Suzu-chan, I'll leave first and bring you the things. Huh? Oh, okay. Kateno Sakai left. Suzu Sakakihara originally planned to give the reason she had prepared before, but it seems that it is no longer necessary now. She breathed a sigh of relief. He took out his mobile phone again, opened the contact list, and sent several messages to Raku Sakakibara, whose comment was "stinking central air conditioner. Come to the rooftop of the teaching building later. I know you want to ask why, do not ask, do not ask, do not ask. Just come, I'm waiting for you." Turning off the phone screen, Sakakihara squatted down and opened the cardboard box. What caught her eye was the maid outfit she had gone to the store to buy in person. Sakakihara Suzu saw cat ears and a black and white ruffled skirt in a cardboard box. His hands were hesitating, his head was hesitating. Should he really put on such shameful clothes? And then, you still have to make that kind of malicious and cute gesture towards people? You still have to call the cat owner, and you still have to scratch the cat's ears and ask the other person if he is cute? Ah! Sakakihara Suzu is going crazy. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely impossible. Why did I have such a bad idea to wear a maid uniform? Oh, I'll come after dinner. But after seeing the reply on her phone, Sakakibara Suzu knew that she had to put on such extremely shameful clothes now. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tiu Lan. Chapter 186. Put on the skirt, tie the bow, and put the school uniform you were wearing before into the cardboard box. For no reason, Sakakihara Suzu felt a little strange in her heart. Strange. How should I describe it? It's a bit scary, but also a bit expectant of putting on new clothes. The smooth fabric of the maid uniform touches the skin, and you can still see the black skirt, white apron, and ruffles below the waist. Sakakihara Suzu was holding the matching cat ear headdress on her head with both hands, feeling very nervous. She doesn't know whether it's cute or not, but it should, maybe, probably. It might be cute, right? She couldn't help but think so. She really wanted to find a mirror to reflect on her current appearance, but there was no way there was such a thing in the utility room classroom with piles of desks and chairs. So, she could only comfort herself in her heart, well, she was cute, really cute, and he would definitely like it. Yes, that's right, I'm cute. It must be so, it must be so. Sakakihara Suzu encouraged her in her heart, trying to suppress her inner tension with the help of self-suggestion. But the more she suppressed it, the more her inner shyness made her uneasy. She began to check what she was wearing today. Whether the bow is tied crookedly, whether the hair is taken care of, whether the short hair braided this morning is neatly placed. Sakakihara Suzu raised her mobile phone, took a picture of herself from a high place. She put her legs together and blushed so hard that she was too embarrassed to look at the phone camera. The effect in the photo is okay. Although the maid outfit is indeed too shameful, her hair is not messy and the bow on the collar is not crooked. It seems to be a bit cuter than usual. Wearing small leather shoes, Suzu Sakakihara stood with her legs together. She held her mobile phone in both hands, which slightly strengthened her belief that she is particularly cute. She wore a maid outfit and took small steps out of the street with rippling skirts in the room. We walked onto the rooftop of the teaching building. The rooftop environment is comfortable. The vast blue sky, with clouds floating in the sky. Occasionally, a few clusters of sunshine fall from the gaps in the clouds, shining on the face, which also has a soothing warmth. Sakakihara Suzu stood uneasily on the rooftop, looking at the scenery outside the school and looking at Tokyo, where street trees and urban buildings were intertwined. Trying to relieve tension through these cityscapes while waiting for someone to arrive. I've finished my meal and will come over soon. Are you really coming? Holding the phone in her hand, Sakakihara Suzu suddenly felt that she was not ready yet. What if he laughs at himself? Laughing at the outfit I'm wearing. Laughing at myself for being so ashamed of myself. Laughing at myself for wearing such a shy accessory as a cat ear headdress. Sakakihara Suzu pursed her lips. Wrong. He didn't dare to laugh at himself. If he dares to laugh at himself, he will bite him to death. The kind of death in the physical sense. Sakakihara Suzu stood with her hands behind her back, slightly cramped, to the side of the rooftop entrance. Time floats along with the sunlight falling from the sky, passing by bit by bit. Finally, she heard some movement up the stairs. Sakakihara Suzu became nervous. Come yet. The sound was getting closer and closer, getting closer and closer to the last step of the stairs to enter the rooftop. Sakakihara Suzu could not help but change from nervousness to anxiety. He is coming. Her heartbeat was getting faster and faster. The rooftop door was pushed open. Sakakibara Suzu blushed, her hands were tied tightly on the tail of the maid's dress behind her, and she shouted towards the figure who pushed the door open. He also used the soft voice that he usually uses least. But before she could completely shout out, Sakakihara Suzu's pupils shrank sharply. She was surprised and raised her finger in horror, pointing at the person who pushed the door in front of her. Because that person was not the Raku Sakakibara he thought he was. You, Tian Haikimingyu didn't expect that there would be anyone on the rooftop at this time. Logically speaking, the rooftop would be closed during this time. Ah, it turns out to be my sister Chan. You. You. Damage to the brainstem. Loss of language module. Tian Haikimingyu tilted her head, as if asking for facts. How could it be you, a fox? And, what's more, the clothes you're wearing. Maid outfit, what? Sakakibara Suzu rubbed her eyes and confirmed that Nanami was wearing the same maid uniform as hers. Black bow, lace suspenders, fluffy skirt, white ruffled Lolita-style modified maid uniform. Maid outfit. Wait, why are you wearing this, a fox? It was obviously my idea. Why are you wearing it? Ah! I'm furious. Suzu Sakakihara was so angry that she grabbed the bag on her waist and threw it to the ground. She said angrily, you copied me. Maid outfit. That's right. Sakakihara Suzu was going crazy, why would the fox appear in such a place? She was also wearing the same clothes as herself. She must have plagiarized her own idea, yes she plagiarized her own idea. Tian Haikiminyu's expression did not change. She tilted her head slightly, doubts in her eyes. I would like to ask you why you are standing here wearing this clothes? Why am I here? Just a little bit, why should I tell you? Humph. Sakakihara Suzu crossed her arms, pouted her little lips, and raised her chin arrogantly. You have nothing to do with it? This is what you're wearing. Sakakibara Suzu's expression froze as her thoughts were revealed at a glance. Tian Haikimingyu then said, are you trying to make him happy? You. It seems that I guessed it right. I didn't expect that Suzu-chan, who is usually talked about as a stinky lele, would be a tsundere. Can't you just admit it? Amami Nanami's tone was clearly unchanged, but Sakakihara Suzu could hear every word being sarcastic. Proud. You are so arrogant. Your whole family is arrogant. Maybe it's a little bit that far away, a little bit the size of a piece of sand picked up by your fingertips. But Sakakihara Suzu would never admit that she was a tsundere in front of this fox. Bad fox and bad woman. Bad fox and bad woman. Sakakibara Suzu drew a circle in her heart and cursed her to be a fox for the next 10 lives, and tried hard to restore her expression. Sister Chan, is there anything you want to explain? Sakaki Harasuzu seemed to have thought of something, and raised her chin not to be outdone. She crossed her arms, closed her eyes, and said proudly. Humph, if nothing else, it's our second Miss Tianhai. Why do you wear a maid outfit to come to a place like this? Huh. Faced with Sakaki Harasuzu's provocation, Amami Nanamizuki's hair around her ears was pulled back. She turned her body sideways and crossed her arms with her hands on her chest, as if she had her eyes closed in contemplation. The reason is naturally very simple. You know, the people in the music department are going to participate in their symphony orchestra performance this afternoon. Before participating in the performance, they must first practice the prepared music. And these people in the music department are we serve as maids in the maid cafe in our class. Once they leave, naturally, there will not be enough people. I just complied with my sister's request and put on a maid uniform to temporarily take their place. I didn't want others to see me, so I came to the rooftop. That's all. Listening to Amami Nanamayu's long and calm answer, Sakaki Harasuzu was extremely anxious. You fart. You obviously wore this outfit on purpose just because you liked him. What excuses are there? Just want to please him. Snort. Don't think that I don't know the way. This is what he told me himself. Correct. You still don't know that I already know that you like stinky Lele. I don't know, that would be much more interesting. Sakaki Harasuzu, who holds the little secret of Tenkai Nanamayu in her heart, becomes happy and confident. I didn't expect that the fox is still a stinky tsundere, let's see if I don't deal with you. Sakaki Harasuzu smoothed her throat and deliberately produced a voice that sounded like a female villain. Ah, isn't it that a certain guy likes a certain guy and that's why he put on a maid costume? Isn't it that he thinks the maid costume is too shameful and just wants to show it to a certain guy alone, so he specially came to this time period? A closed rooftop to avoid other people's sight. When Amami Nanamajetsu heard this, she moved her eyes and looked at Sakaki Harasuzu from a side perspective, whose tail was about to rise to the sky. Sakaki Harasuzu continued to use the same voice as before, and gradually raised her sarcastic tone. As for the reason for doing this, ahem, it must be in a tree hole. The cunning two foxes can't catch the big fox with good character. The two foxes can't share the food, so the two foxes want to use the maid wears such shameful clothes to please a certain guy, so that she can use this to beg him to give him even a little bit of food for the big fox, ha ha ha. Sakaki Harasuzu pursed her small lips contemptuously, raising them cutely, and spread her hands helplessly. It's really pathetic. Tianhai Kaimingyu took a breath, retracted her glanced eyes, crossed her chest and said. The two foxes can still get a little bit of food, but a certain rabbit goes home exhausted after pulling out carrots every day, and wants to happily lean on the nest and sleep comfortably. But she doesn't want to, her rabbit nest, without realizing it, only the smell of fox was left. Sister Chan, tell me, can the rabbit continue to sleep peacefully after knowing that the nest she has slept in for more than 10 years suddenly smells like fox? Nanamai raised her gaze slightly and glanced sideways at Suzu Sakakibara, who had a look of disdain on her face. You are just a fox. Hateful. Too abominable. Tianhai Kaimingyu, the clothes you are wearing today are your resistance. In my opinion, it is useless. Sakaki Harasuzu glanced at the same maid uniform she was wearing, turned around and said, Humph, each other. For a long period of time, Sakaki Harasuzu did not speak to Amami Nanamajetsu who was standing on the other side. Neither of them paid any attention to the other. Sakaki Harasuzu turned her head to a place that was completely opposite to the position occupied by Nanamai, waiting and looking at her phone. I was anxiously thinking about why Lele still couldn't come over. Etc. Sakaki Harasuzu suddenly realized something. If Lele came here, wouldn't he also see the 7 bright moons in the sky and see here? I made up my mind to wear such shameful clothes because I wanted to surprise Sakakibara Raku. But Tian Haikaiminyu is also here wearing the same clothes. She had been planning for many days, wouldn't it be all in vain? The fox is so shameless. Cannot be like this. Absolutely not. You have to find a way to fool this fox. Well, this will require her acting skills. Suzu Sakakihara deliberately took out her mobile phone and quietly pretended to send a message using her mobile phone as if she was hiding from Amamai Nanamayu. Then, without saying anything, she strode towards the stairs to the rooftop. You want to go downstairs? Tian Haikaiminyu noticed her movements. Hum, the fox took the bait. Sakakihara Suzu was happy in her heart, but remained calm on the outside. She calmed down her voice and said in the same angry voice just now, "Why, you're trying to stop me from going downstairs." "I have no intention of stopping you, Sister Chan, but I'm afraid that if you leave now, you won't be able to see the person you want to see later." "I said I can see it if I can see it." Sakakihara Suzu felt confident. "Tian Haikaiminyu, did you make an appointment with that guy to meet on the rooftop?" Sakakihara Suzu frowned. "How do you know?" Tian Haikaiminyu didn't speak, she just put her legs together and stood quietly in the sun, but her meaning was self-evident. Sakakihara Suzu frowned more and more, thinking of something. "You also made an appointment with him to meet on the rooftop of the teaching building." "Obviously, someone has promised me." "Nonsense. He obviously promised me." Tian Haikaiminyu did not deny what she said, but she did not care. "I don't care about other things he does, but for me, he promised me to meet here, he must do it, and he must do it, that's the agreement." Sakakihara Suzu stamped her feet angrily. "He obviously promised me. I have no intention of lying to you." Tian Haikaiminyu had no intention of explaining any more. Judging from her expression and what she meant, Sakakihara Suzu didn't think the fox would lie to him about such a thing. She said that Lele promised her and had an agreement. It might be true. But that's not right, he obviously promised himself. I still have that sentence saved on my phone. "Oh, I'll come after dinner." Damn it, what the hell is going on? Time goes back to 10 minutes ago. Sakakibara was eating with several classmates in his class when a message suddenly popped up on his phone. "It is the 7 bright moons in the sky and sea. After lunch, come to the rooftop." What? Sakakihara Raku was eating pork chops while typing a reply. "Are you coming?" "What if I don't come?" Sakakihara was still thinking about what happened yesterday, the photo taken by Chi Minjio, which made him explain to Juliuli for a long time. "Do you expect to see a woman without any clothes on your bedside the next day?" The pork chop Sakakihara Raku ate was half bitten off. "Okay, you are cruel enough. But I can lock it?" "Then wait until the 3rd day. On the 2nd day, I will use glue to block the keyhole of your door." Sakakihara Raku. Thumbs up. Accepted. "I can only agree, what else can I do? I'm waiting for you on the rooftop." Sakakibara glanced at the last message sent to him by Tian Haikaiminyu, and was assessing the danger of this trip and whether he should call Juliuri specially. At this time, line rang again. Even the male classmates on the side came over curiously and asked, "Is she your girlfriend?" Raku Sakakihara muttered a few words casually, and then looked at the message sent to him by Suzu Sakakibara. 3 more in a row. "Come to the rooftop of the teaching building later. I know you want to ask why. Do not ask, do not ask, do not ask. Just come, I'm waiting for you." "What is this for? Why did you arrange to meet me on the rooftop? Did they bring hatchets?" Aling didn't allow herself to ask, so Sakakibara turned around and asked Amamai Kaiminyu. "What are you doing with me on the rooftop?" The message appears as read. But after a few minutes, Tian Haikaiminyu had no intention of replying. "Okay, it seems I can't ask." Tian Hikaiminyu has already agreed and cannot refuse. Sakaki Hara Suzu. If Suzu ignores her, she will definitely be angry. The little girl is most troublesome when she is angry. Oh, I'll come after dinner, Sakaki Hara Raku replied to Sakaki Hara Suzu. Anyway, they both asked me to meet on the rooftop, so what if they both agreed? Anyway, it is impossible for this kind of bloody romance drama to unfold on the rooftop. And if they make appointments at the same time, they will probably meet. When the time comes, they will meet and talk to each other first, and when they get along well with each other, they will go over and listen to what they tell them to do. What a perfect arrangement. Sakaki Hara admired himself quite a lot. Time returns to now more than 10 minutes later. The rooftop of the teaching building. Sakaki Hara Suzu has already seen the chat history shown to her by Amami Nanami. She gritted her teeth in anger. Damn it! How dare you date two girls at the same time? Scumbag! Poor! Tian Hikaiminyu put away her phone in a normal way. Mei Jiang seems to have misunderstood something. Judging from the timestamp of the chat history, it was me who he agreed to first. As for you, Sister Jiang, it was just because you have the same goal as mine, he casually said. It's just a promise. Revenge, this is definitely the revenge of the fox. Sakakibara Suzu almost forgot that a fox is the most vengeful animal. If you accidentally step on its tail, it will definitely be 10 times more angry. No. Come back with 100-fold revenge. Not willing to give in, so unwilling to give in. What, he just agreed casually. Obviously you are the most important person. Tian Hikaiminyu, so, Sister Chan, are you still planning to leave the rooftop? According to the first come, first served principle, he should give priority to his agreement with me. I don't want to stay with you. Besides, he didn't just agree to me casually. He obviously agreed to me very carefully. Sakakibara Suzu pursed her small lips tightly, her eyes always locked on Amami Nanamayu's face. She felt in her heart that Chi Minjia was too much. It's really too much and easy to bully. Obviously I came up with it myself. I wanted to use the stress to make someone happy. Let him know that he has a sister who cares about him very much. It was obvious that I had prepared the outfit with all my heart and had to endure the embarrassment and shame before putting it on. If that guy doesn't like it, I would never wear such shameful clothes. Obviously, everything should be done by me. Sakakibara Suzu was thinking about this, and kept looking at the 7 bright moons in the sky. Her heart was racing, and that strange feeling rushed straight into her brain. She couldn't help but purse her lips tightly. Amami Nanamayu seemed to sense Sakakibara Suzu's inner emotions on her face. After a while, she said in her calmest voice, Sister Chan, crying is never the way to solve problems. I didn't cry. It could be seen that Suzu Sakakihara, who was wearing a maid uniform, was trying hard to endure something. She tried her best to suck in the soreness in her nose, then took a deep breath and said, when he comes, look at me and you, who will he choose? Amami Nanamajetsu knows that Sakakibara Suzu is actually right, if she wants someone to make a choice between herself and her. Then after hesitating, someone will most likely choose to comfort Sakakihara Suzu. After all, the closeness of their brother-sister relationship is no joke, and the relationship that has lasted for more than 10 years cannot be intervened by oneself. Because Sakakihara Suzu has never been on the same track as him, there is no threat. Joke. You can tell how much someone dotes on his sister from how he helps to cook the meals she wants, does her laundry, and patiently helps her with her homework. Finding that Nanami remained silent, Suzu Sakakihara returned to her usual arrogant appearance. Huh, I know I lost. Fine. Sister Chan. Sure enough, she is still the same Sister Chan. Amami Nanami no longer has the chance to fight with Sakakibara Suzu. Who makes her Sister Chan always so cute? Even she can't help but feel soft towards her. Forget it, I'll give this opportunity to her. The thank you gift for what happened yesterday doesn't have to be reflected in this dress. When Sakakihara Suzu was being arrogant, she secretly glanced at Amami Nanami and found that she was about to leave. Hey! Wait, what do you want to do? To the restroom. Nanami dropped these words and ignored Sakakihara Suzu, who wanted to say something else. Tianhai Kaimingyu opened the door to the rooftop, stepped forward, and stepped onto the stairs going downstairs. For her, the main enemy now is Tianhai Julie Yulai, and she can only be considered a winner if she can beat her sister. As for my younger sister Chan, let her act coquettishly from time to time, that's fine. In her thoughts, Amami Nanamijetsu quickly stopped because she met Sakakibara Raku at the corner of the utility room after walking down the stairs. Chi Minjio? What are you wearing? Tianhai Kaimingyu frowned. Please don't get me wrong, she wasn't frowning at Sakakibara Raku. Because this person's appearance is reasonable. The person who made Amami Nanajetsu frown, with an unkind expression on his face, was the surprised Amami Kuruori, who was also wearing a maid outfit and was following Sakakibara Raku. She was the one who asked the question just now. Wait. Nanamijiyo, you Sakakihara Suzu, who had not finished asking the question, opened the door to the rooftop and quickly ran down from above. But before Sakakihara Suzu ran a few steps, she saw 3 people under the stairs looking at her at the same time. Sakakihara Suzu's little leather shoe stopped, and the echo in her ears quickly disappeared from the footsteps in the entire corridor. For a moment, 4 people, 3 girls wearing similar styles of maid uniforms, looked at each other in the narrow staircase corridor. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tio Yu Lan. Chapter 187. I'm done eating. 10 minutes before the 4 of them met, at noon, in the cafeteria. Sakakibara put away his cleaned plate. Sakakibara, do you want to go to the cultural festival? A boy in his class asked him. Sorry, I have to participate in the music department's symphony orchestra in the afternoon, so I have to get ready later. Everyone nodded. I always feel like you're always busy, Sakakibara. Is there any? Yes, you are either studying or exercising. Recently, you have joined the music club. I always feel like you are the kind of person who knows everything, a perfect top student. Is there any? Sakakihara couldn't help but think about it. He felt like a waste. Apart from anything else, I have never been able to compare with the 2 sisters Chi Minjio and Julie Yulai. Aling, even Aling can't compare. Her voice acting career is booming. There are also more and more fans. I believe she will be the heroine of a popular animated drama soon. Looking back on myself, apart from studying, exercising, and being able to cook a little, it seems that I don't have any special qualities. There's really nothing good about me. To be honest, Sakakibara Raku doesn't even think that he is worthy of Julie Yulai or Chi Minjio. As the 2 eldest daughters of the Tianhai family and the Tianhai Life Pharmaceutical Group, they are these important? Sakakibara Raku's thoughts suddenly stopped, and with that, the calm expression of Nanami, without any emotion, appeared in his mind. She sat quietly on the edge of the bed, looking at herself with those emotionless eyes. If you deny yourself, you are also denying me as a person, do you understand? If you are worthless, then I who like you are also worthless, do you understand? What Amami Nanamijetsu said to Sakakibara Raku directly blocked the mess of thoughts in his mind. Sakakibara figured it out. Also, instead of saying whether you are worthy or not now, it is better to work hard to improve yourself. What's more, Tianhai Julie Yulai and Tianhai Kaimingyu are the kind of people who don't care about their status. For them, their identity as daughters of the Tianhai family brought a rather unpleasant life to their childhood. Sakakibara. Ah, Sakakibara came back to his senses and looked at the classmates sitting at the opposite table. What are you thinking about? You suddenly fell into a daze while we were chatting. Everyone called you several times but there was no response. Then we couldn't disturb your thoughts. Sakakihara smiled and replied, well, it's nothing, it's okay, I just thought of something. By the way, Sakakibara, what's your relationship with Amamikuruori from class 1? When asked about this, everyone became very interested. Facing them, Sakakihara Raku could only reply with a smile. A general relationship, a general relationship. Dating. Everyone immediately started making noises and kept saying things like we must be dating and I can see you talking together, full of curiosity. That's not true. Sakakihara shook his head. Sakakibara, please don't hide it. Who doesn't know that the elder sister of the twins made lunch for you every day a while ago? She came to our class in person every day and delivered it to your drawer. A girl will give a boy a lunch box. What does it mean? What else could it be? Ah, it's that one, it's definitely that one. The more they talked, the more excited they became. Sakakibara, isn't this enviable? Such a beautiful girl will personally make a bento for you and give it to you to eat. What about us? My mother is too lazy to make it for me. She says she has no time and is too busy. She makes it by herself every morning. Just take 2 slices of bread and eat it. That's right, I can't even picture it in my dreams. Do you know how many boys secretly regard Minister Tianhai as their goal in the past 3 years? It's so enviable. Everyone was talking to each other, and Raku Sakakihara couldn't even get a word in. However, he could indeed feel the envy on everyone's faces. When he walked in school recently, many eyes would look at him, asking is that person's doubtful gaze. Haha, I'll leave first. Let's talk slowly. Why run? Let's go. Putting the plate into the utensil recycling place in the cafeteria, clapping his hands, Sakakihara raised his head and glanced at the bright sky through the tall glass curtain wall of the cafeteria. He took out his mobile phone and sent the same message to Aling and Chi Minjiao respectively. I've finished my meal and will come over soon. Then he looked at the time on his phone and started heading to the rooftop of the teaching building. The sun slanted across the tree-shaded student corridor, and he was thinking as he walked. What on earth do the 2 people want to do when they call me over? Or the rooftop, which has been closed recently due to cultural festivals. Isn't that a place used by some underground lovers to kiss? Most students are afraid of being embarrassed and will not go up. Sakakihara climbed to the 3rd floor of the teaching building. Just as he stepped onto the corner of the stairs to the 4th floor, his cell phone rang again. Sakakibara thought it might be Nanamayu or Suzu urging him to get up quickly or something. Take it out and take a look. Brother, is it convenient for you to come to our classroom now? It turned out to be Julie Yulai. Sakakihara stopped, stood on the stairs, and glanced at the handrails of the 4th floor corridor above. Thinking about rushing to keep the appointment, Sakakihara lowered his head and asked on his mobile phone. It's not an important matter, right? No, it will only take up a little bit of brother's time, a few minutes, mainly because I have something to ask for your help, brother. Julie Yulai asked for help. It only takes up a little time. And now I only need to walk a few steps up and pass a few classrooms to reach Julie Yulai's class. It's not impossible to let Chi Minjiao and Aling wait for a few more minutes. Anyway, on the way. Raku Sakakihara thought so and walked to the door of the year group class. This is now a maid cafe. It stands to reason that class 1 and his own class are still competitors at the cultural festival. However, due to the different styles, the 2 classes have little influence on each other. The first class maid cafe is more like an ordinary maid cafe. There are cat ears, omelette rice, and a cute little maid. My class, on the other hand, is more Western style and orthodox. The food they eat there is all Western food, such as steak and pasta. Sakakibara didn't know how those female classmates were able to act cute to the students of the same school, but this was probably the reason why Amami Nanamajetsu couldn't stay here any longer. She couldn't stand these shameful things, so she decisively chose to hand out flyers at the school gate. It's no wonder that during these 3 days, I always met the 7 bright moons in the sky and sea outside. Correct. Chi Minjio said. My sister and I will never wear such shameful clothes. Come to think of it, Julie Yulai must also have had a lot of psychological struggle on this matter. Although she was embarrassed about the maid cafe, as the class president, she still had to help everyone in the class complete this class activity. It was really difficult for her. It was lunchtime and there weren't many people in the student corridors. Raku Sakakihara stood at the door of the maid cafe without looking inside. There were many people eating inside, and he was afraid that if he poked his head in, he would be dragged in by the maid to spend money. It was difficult to resist the hospitality, and they were all classmates. Sakakibara had better stay away. I'm here, but I can't enter your classroom. Did Julie Yulai keep staring at the screen? The message is sent and will be displayed as read after 2 seconds. Okay, brother, wait for me outside, and then we will pretend we don't know each other for a while, and brother will just follow me. Sakakihara was stunned. Where are you going? Just go to the utility classroom under the rooftop, it won't take long. That's okay. Wait, why is it the rooftop again? Why did his 3 younger sisters invariably call him to go to the rooftop? Is it possible that he really wants to stab himself with a hatchet? Judging from the performance of several people recently, it is impossible. Chi Minjio is the one who is most likely to stab her, isn't it? A Ling is also a bit like him. Sakakihara Raku admitted that he felt a little panicked. He couldn't help but start to think about what he would do if he encountered the Shura field when he went up later. He was caught between a few people and could not help anyone. Extremely uncomfortable. Tianhai Julie Yulai walked out of the Class 1 classroom holding a cardboard box. She has a handsome appearance, long flowing hair, and a graceful step. It was exactly the same as she showed in front of thousands of teachers and students at the beginning of the cultural festival. Amami Kuruori did not speak to Sakakibara Raku who was standing outside. The two just looked at each other and exchanged information. Sakakibara checked that no one around the corridor noticed her, and then followed her. Followed all the way to the 5th floor and crossed the overpass corridor with yellow police tape. Only then did Sakakihara Raku have the opportunity to talk to Julie Yulai. Give me the box. Tianhaiju really didn't know why, but after taking a look at Sakakibara Raku, he became a little embarrassed. She was obviously very confident just now. Kuruori's sudden change made Sakakihara Raku feel that she was so cute at this time. Sakakihara took the box and weighed it twice. It was not too heavy. What's inside? Clothing. Clothes? Clothes that you carry to the rooftop. Tianhai Julie Yulai was very smart and knew that he was asking what his purpose was in calling him out. But this kind of thing is very, very embarrassing for a girl. She folded her hands nervously. Julie Yulai. Sakakibara Raku's questioning made Amami Kuruori even more nervous. She was beside him and said very shyly. I called you out because I actually wanted to try on a maid outfit. Sakakibara spent several seconds processing this information. Aren't you and Nanami Mingzuki embarrassed to wear such clothes? Tianhai Julie Yulai nodded, showing that she was a little uneasy. And you? I'm embarrassed to wear this kind of clothes outside because it's very embarrassing. But I think it would be fine if it were you. Amami Kuruori stopped, her hands nervously grasping the hem of Sakakihara Raku's shirt. I also just want to wear it for you to see alone. Hearing her murmurs and seeing how nervous she was in front of him with her cheeks turning red, His heart seemed to be filled with a burning sensation. Sakakibara couldn't help but froze. I only want to wear it for myself. Should this strange emotion be called happiness? No, definitely happy. I am happy because there is such a cute girl who needs me and treats me well. Why? Sakakihara asked subconsciously, which was equivalent to having no emotional intelligence, but it was also a true thought. Because I like it. Because I want to stay with you. Tianhaijuli Yuli's face was flushed to the base of her ears, and her light red lips seemed to be shining even if she didn't apply lipstick. She bit her small lips lightly, and Sakakihara couldn't help but look a little fascinated. What does Julie Yuli like about herself? Sakakihara Raku heard her say it, and he knew it in his heart. I just like my own personality, my personality of taking care of others. I like that I can stand up for her and help her speak. I like that I help her make supper late at night, making her feel loved. I also like that I encourage her and let her face her mother's words bravely. I like the feeling of holding her. It makes her feel at ease and has a place to rely on when she is unhappy. Sakakibara understands. But Julie Yuli's feelings were too embarrassing for him, an adolescent boy who had never been in love. Happy, and also like it? All kinds of emotions are entangled together, and Sakakihara Raku also feels a little embarrassed. Seeing Sakakibara turning his head away in embarrassment, Amamikuruori realized what embarrassing words he had said. I didn't dare to look at him anymore. The air is quiet, but the atmosphere is hot. Sakakihara Raku could vaguely smell the girlish fragrance coming from Amamikuruori's body. Only then did he suddenly realize that she was actually standing so close to him, and he couldn't help but look at her lightly pursed lips. By the way, it seemed that I could kiss Julie Yuli a few days ago, right? The atmosphere was already brewing at that time, and Julie Yuli, who was only wearing a western lace pajamas, stretched herself in front of her. He can still remember that delicate and shy face, and the delicate white collarbone that can be seen at a glance. If someone asks me if I want to kiss Julie Yuli, then nonsense, I definitely want to. But seeing Julie Yuli, Sakakihara Raku couldn't help but think of Nana Magetsu, who had the same appearance as her. She also said those heartwarming words to herself. Although he didn't feel like he wanted to kiss Julie Yuli when he faced her, it was impossible to say that he didn't feel anything at all. I didn't expect that I was really a scumbag. Thinking of this, Sakakihara Raku couldn't help but feel a little ashamed of Julie's love for him. 9 glazed glass. Elder brother. Julie Yuli, please speak first. Well, Tianhai Julie Yuli nodded slightly, then raised a comforting eyebrow. Brother doesn't hate maid uniforms, right? Maid outfit. Don't hate it, I think it's pretty cute anyway. Especially after being given the attribute of only wanting to show me one person, Sakakihara Raku even felt that Kuruori was so cute that people would have the urge to hug her. So cute, so foul. Ah, that's good. Sakakihara Raku also knows about the miscellaneous classroom that Amamikuruori mentioned. It is usually used as a place for each other's tables and stools. Apart from replacing broken tables and chairs, almost no one comes here, except for the kissing couple. Amamikuruori wanted to change clothes, so naturally Sakakibara Raku had no choice but to wait outside. And I kept recalling the shy look on her face when she closed the door. She is so kind to herself, and I really like her. Therefore, he should be decisive and never come into contact with Chi Minjiu again. But this is difficult. She has rejected Chi Minjiu many times, but she still doesn't give up. Maybe only when she reaches the point of beating her will she hate herself as a person and start to give up. But I really can't do this. Wanting to completely ignore her and not say a word to her, Sakakihara tried for a few days. The result is obvious, she will come directly to your bed. When the time comes, you won't be able to talk to her even if you don't want to. Brother, I've changed my clothes. When Sakakibara Raku was thinking about things in confusion, the voice of Amamai Kuruori came from inside the door. How cute would Juliuli look in a maid uniform? Sakakibara couldn't help but think to himself. Blush. Hands cramped in front of you. A big hem skirt, white stockings, and black round-toe leather shoes. Then add the bow on the neckline and the ruffles unique to the maid outfit. You are obviously very ashamed to wear this outfit, but you still try hard to maintain it. Eyes evasive, legs together, wanting to look at yourself but too embarrassed to look at yourself? No, just thinking about it will make you understand how cute Juliuli can be in such clothes. Well, then come out. Good. The utility room classroom door opened. However, at this moment, at the corner of the utility room classroom, on the stairs leading to the rooftop, Raku Sakakihara, who was in a nervous state, was attracted by the sound of footsteps that sounded like small leather shoes. A girl with long flaxen hair and wearing a maid outfit was standing above her, looking at her. Nine colored glaze? Sakakibara looked puzzled. Why did you teleport there? Chiminjio? A voice with the same doubt sounded in his ears. Looking back, there was another Juliuli next to me. Etc. Juliuli is here, and she just came out of the classroom and did not teleport, so let's put it this way. The one standing on top. Seeing the girl in maid uniform with long flaxen hair standing on the stairs, Sakakibara was shocked. Kaiming-yu. Wait. Chiminjio, you. Before Sakakibara finished processing the information in his brain, Sakakibara saw another girl in a maid outfit running down behind Nanamai. That voice, that short hair. Aling. In less than half a minute, 4 people with different expressions looked at each other on the narrow stairs. There were doubts, frowns, and surprises. Besides, Sakakibara held his head with both hands and grabbed his hair. He was going crazy and didn't understand. What's wrong with this world? Why are all 3 of my sisters wearing maid outfits? Still here. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tio Lan. Chapter 188. Sakakihara Suzu, who was at the top of the stairs, kept jumping back and forth between the 2 sisters. You. Sister, why are you here? Before Sakakihara Suzu could finish her words, Nanamai asked another question. Hello. Why don't you listen to me? Tianhai Juliuli, why is Kaiming-yu here? The 2 sisters looked at each other. Sakakibara then raised his head and looked at Amamai Nanamajetsu, who was standing on the stairs with Amamai Kuruori beside him. Something doesn't seem right. As soon as Tianhai Juliuli and Tianhai Kaiming-yu met, the atmosphere became tense. Also, what's going on with the clothes you're wearing? Why are they all wearing maid outfits? Sakakibara couldn't quite understand why they were all here, why they all agreed to meet on the rooftop, and why they all wore such maid outfits. And Aling. Raku Sakakibara looked at Suzu Sakakibara at the back. Aling, what's going on with you? I can understand the 2 of them wearing maid outfits, but what about Aling's clothes? Sakakibara's head was going numb. But what troubled him even more was the confrontation between the 2 sisters. They can be said to be full of bad intentions. Kyo, didn't you say you dislike wearing this kind of clothes? I hate it, but I can't help someone liking it. Auntie, don't look at me. Raku Sakakibara noticed that Nanamai and Suzu Sakakibara looked at him at the same time, and his scalp went numb. When did I say I liked it? It's cute, but I never said I wanted you to wear it. Sakakihara Suzu looked at her brother angrily, asking what is going on, with her eyes. Sakakihara Raku just wanted to say, you might as well look at them as me. What I didn't expect was that my sister would actually wear such clothes. Tian Haikaimingu was above and said condescendingly. She seemed to look down on her sister for wearing this dress, but she didn't seem to have it. But if I think about it a little more carefully, it's not that I can't understand that my sister's behavior as a sister is because of the dress she wore yesterday afternoon. Things have created a sense of crisis, so I want to please someone today. Women's fight. There really is a hidden meaning behind the words. Tian Haijuli Yulai didn't care about the twin sister's slightly teasing words, looked directly at her and said, I can responsibly say that the clothes I am wearing now have nothing to do with what happened yesterday. Even so, my sister will still be affected by this incident and benefit from it, right? Tian Haikaimingu knew Julie Yulai quite well and understood what she was thinking. Sister is scared. Tian Haijuli Yulai shook his head, I'm not worried about Chi Minjiao's actions. Sister is just scared. July, no matter how many actions you do, you are forcing others' wishes after all. No one will like this kind of behavior. And as a sister, I need to remind you that what happened yesterday was just my brother's treatment of you as an elder brother. It's just taking care of me, absolutely nothing else. Tian Hai Chi Minjiao looked away when she heard this, and then she crossed her arms again. Although she was wearing a maid uniform, she still exuded a strong aura of a superior. My sister is too optimistic. I need to understand that the so-called spirit is just a support of the body. Once the body comes into contact, the spirit will fall sooner or later. What do you mean by that? Sakakihara Suzu couldn't help but ask after listening to their conversation for a long time. Means nothing. Tian Haikaimingu obviously had no intention of explaining more. Sakakihara Suzu was stunned. This look on your face? What's the meaning? Do you look down on me? Sakakihara Suzu angrily wanted to speak, but was suddenly interrupted by Amamikuruuri. Chi Minjiao, haven't you seen your brother's attitude towards you? It's your right to pursue him, but you have to understand that forceful behavior is not sweet, and those actions will only make people annoying. What about my sister? It's just that the brother sees my sister as pitiful and wants to take more care of you. Besides, men are always hard-spoken and duplicitous. These words are more suitable for you, Chi Minjiao. When was there not a time when you used your brother's pity for you to get closer to him after you were injured? You even made those completely irrational actions. Is my sister sane? So sane that she wants to break up suddenly and go abroad for a year? If Dad hadn't come, do you think you still have a chance? Tian Haijuli Yulai didn't flinch at all. He took a step forward and said, yes, I was indeed wrong, but because of this, I now understand better what should be done. Sister is not qualified. What do you mean by qualification? Does it mean who has more weight in my brother's heart? Then I believe that it is even more impossible for me to lose to you, Chi Minjiao. But I am much more determined than you, sister. If you are determined, you should not do things that go against the wishes of others. Some people are indecisive and need me to do that. You will only make things difficult for your brother. No, I think he enjoys it. Enough, enough. Sakakihara Suzu clenched her fists and closed her eyes throughout the whole process, enduring her anger. One or two, if you ask me, you are not qualified. I was obviously the one who came first. Sakakibara Suzu walked down the stairs in a few steps, came to Sakakibara Raku, grabbed his arm and left. Aling. Brother, come with me. Aling wanted to take him away, but Sakakibara Raku didn't have any objections. Julie Yulai and Chi Minjiao faced each other. His scalp was really numb when he saw it. It's not good to help this end, and it's not good to help that end either. Snapped. When Sakakibara Suzu was about to lead Sakakihara Raku away, Amamikuruuri grabbed Sakakihara Raku's other arm. Sakakihara Suzu glared at her angrily. What do you mean? Tianhai Julie Yulai replied gently, brother promised me to stay here for a while. Ha! Sakakihara Suzu's eyes widened, and she asked Sakakihara Raku in surprise, didn't you make an appointment with me? Then you went to make an appointment with Julie Yulai in the blink of an eye. This is correct. Sakakibara Suzu was extremely angry, and angrily pointed at Amami Nanamajetsu with her arms crossed above her, and said through gritted teeth with a smile, if I remember correctly, did you just agree to that, fox? That's right. Sakakibara acquiesced. In other words, you agreed to 3 people at the same time. That's what happened. Wait, why did I suddenly become the kind of scumbag who has 2 feet in the same boat? Something is wrong. Obviously I didn't feel that way at all when I agreed to them. Sakakibara Raku. You are too much. Scumbag. Brother, even Tianhai Julie Yulai cast a doubtful look at him. Tianhai Kaimingyu even looked at him nakedly from above, calling him a scumbag. Sakakibara Raku could hardly withstand the pressure brought by the 3 of them. Over. Really finished. Sakakihara Raku felt that under the gaze of the 3 women, a hatchet was hanging on his head. It seemed like it could fall at any moment. Sweat began to form on his forehead. His heart began to race. This is me, ahem. Sakakibara thought for a while, Suzu, I didn't agree to a date or anything, so you don't need to look at me like that. Sakakibara Suzu smiled nicely, so, what do you mean, Ani-sama, you can break the agreement at will? I didn't. Absolutely not. Sakakihara Suzu smiled even more, her face as cute as an angel. The angel was very happy and serious, and said word by word. Then, can you please explain why they appear here? Sakakibara Raku's forearm was gripped tightly by Sakakibara Suzu, and his fingernails were almost embedded in his flesh. The atmosphere was frozen. Sakakihara sighed helplessly. Okay, let me explain. Then, he said to the girl seriously. First of all, in my opinion, you all just asked me to meet. I don't know anything about the clothes you are going to wear. I'm just curious. You didn't seem to have any discussion, but you chose to meet me on the rooftop. Why? You didn't explain. Secondly, among you, Chi Minjia was the first to call me to the rooftop. She didn't say anything and just asked me to meet. How did I know what she was going to do? Then Aling made an appointment with me again. It was also on the rooftop. She didn't say anything, and I wasn't allowed to ask. I asked Chi Minjia but she didn't respond. I thought, anyway, we're on our way, and you guys will definitely meet up by then. Just tell me everything together. Sakakihara looked at a few people. As you know, I've been very busy recently. I have to work as a cook in the maid cafe, hand out flyers, and attend the music department's afternoon symphony practice. What happened to Julie Yulai? Sakakihara Suzu frowned and asked. The same is true for Julie Yulai. When she came to you for an appointment, she also made an appointment with me, so I stopped by to meet Julie Yulai. As it turned out, her destination was also the rooftop. I asked her why because it was a maid uniform, and I was embarrassed to say that I understood. But I didn't know it at the time. I just thought to myself, it's all on the rooftop anyway, so it's okay to bring an extra one. Anyway, it can't be a confession of love for you to ask me out. If you have anything to do, just talk about it together. After that, I can go to rehearsal. After a long phone call, several people also understood the whole story. From this point of view, you can't really blame Sakakihara Raku. After all, he didn't know the purpose of several people's date with him, he just thought it was an ordinary thing. Since it is a common matter, there is nothing wrong with a few people talking about it together, and it can also save time. That's it? Do you have anything else to ask? Dot. Silence at the same time. Gone. Seeing that they seemed to have listened to what he said, Sakakihara heaved a sigh of relief. So tired, so tired. You said but you didn't say why you asked me to do it. Who knew you were going to show me a maid outfit? Well now, when the three of them bumped into each other, not only did he not have time to comment on their clothes, nor did he have time to say something to each of them, he instead created a sure scene where he was a scumbag. He could only cry out that he was wronged. After the explanation, Tianhai Yuli understood the whole story, and the doubts in his eyes dissipated. Tianhai Kaimingyu couldn't see any reaction and still crossed her arms. Sakakihara Suzu still had a dissatisfied expression. What's wrong? Didn't I explain clearly enough? Sakakihara asked. Sakakihara Suzu held his hand, lowered her head, and muttered, I understand, but I feel like why you can explain it so skillfully. This sentence stunned Sakakihara Rakuten. Have it? Are you very skilled? Don't make me look like the kind of scumbag who tramples on girls' feelings at will. My own scumbag, that is, the scumbag in the central air conditioner, is not serious. Sakakibara's eyes wandered between the three women for a moment. After a while, he coughed twice and said righteously, but that's the truth. I'm honest. I'm just telling what I know. Sakakihara Suzu still felt a little uncomfortable, but as he said, it was the truth. Sakakibara Raku lowered his voice and asked Sakakihara Suzu alone, I want to ask you, Suzu, what's going on with the clothes you're wearing? This, Sakakibara Suzu's eyes suddenly became evasive. She let go of Sakakibara's arm, took a step back, put her hands behind the maid's skirt and said, haha it's because of my friend, Tiano. She bought a new set of clothes, and I was curious and wanted to put them on and have a look, and then ask you to come over and comment. Let me evaluate. Sakakibara Suzu nodded at the speed of light like a woodpecker, yes, Sweet No-chan's outfit needs to be changed. She wants to evaluate, she wants me to try it on, you know she is about the same height as me, that's it. Tsundere Tianhai Kaimingyu, who was still on the stairs, said suddenly. This immediately angered Suzu Sakakibara. After being exposed, she was ashamed and annoyed. It should be said that she became angry. She shouted angrily at her, you are the arrogant one, and your whole family is arrogant. Tianhai Kaimingyu declined to comment. Where are you, Nanamajetsu? Sakakibara asked again. What? This is what you're wearing. Does it look good? Sakakibara gave her a look. You want me to say it here? Tianhai Kaimingyu also responded with a look. Can't. You. Still flirting. The angry Sakakibara Suzu reached out and blocked Sakakibara Raku's eyes. Aling. Don't look at her, Sakakihara Suzu said one by one in front. Tianhai Kaimingyu didn't pay attention to the movements of the two of them. She turned her head and said, didn't I say it before? If you like maid uniforms, I will wear them for you, just this once. Why does she sound like my girlfriend? No, we don't have this kind of relationship. You see, Aling got angry in front of me. Bad fox, Sakakibara Suzu turned back sharply, slapped her in retaliation, and hugged one of Sakakibara's arms, deliberately provoking Amamai Nanamayu. Tianhai Kaimingyu only said, has the rabbit started looking for a nest that has changed? Don't talk nonsense. It doesn't smell bad, it still smells like rabbit. What kind of rabbit? Sakakibara Suzu didn't want to pay attention to the bad woman Chi Minjiu at all. She snorted and turned to Sakakibara Raku, brother, let's go on our own and ignore them. Sakakibara Raku is not an emotional idiot and knows that Suzu wants to talk to him alone at this time. She was also very embarrassed to wear the clothes she was wearing. Ken. Sakakibara Raku looked at Amamai Kururi, who was also wearing a maid outfit. What about Julie Yulai? She also wanted to evaluate herself with the same mood. There are also 7 bright moons. Sakakibara cast a questioning look at Amamai Kururi. Obviously, Amamai Kururi, who has a tolerant and generous personality, can completely understand Sakakibara Raku's situation. Although it was a pity that she couldn't spend more time with Sakakibara Raku in this outfit, she was obviously very embarrassed, but she was actually satisfied that he could be the first to see her. At least my brother will be happy about this, right? Okay, that's the end of today's farce. Amamai Nanamajetsu originally planned to let Sakakibara Suzu return, and then prepared to leave. Of course they couldn't go downstairs wearing these clothes. It's because they don't want others to see this outfit that they choose to make an appointment on the rooftop. But Tianhai Kaimingyu put her eyes on Tianhai Julie Yulai's face. She didn't finish her words, but the meaning was already clear in her eyes. I'm happy to accompany you, July. The one who loses in the end must be my sister. Later, Sister Tianhai changed into school uniforms again in the utility room classroom. Left here one after another. Brother, Chi-Chi and I will leave first. Well, Raku Sakakibara hesitated for a moment. Well, can you and Nanamijiu be a little friendly? Tianhai Julie Yulai smiled and said, at present, this is not possible. Why is Julie Yulai's gentle face so scary now? Oh well. Watching the two of them completely disappear from sight, Sakakibara Raku finally had a chance to breathe. Call. What are you calling? Sakakibara Suzu asked in front of him. I'm tired. Well, the fox is gone. Well, do you think my clothes look good? Sakakibara Suzu asked in a weak voice. I'm going to tell you what will happen if it doesn't look good. Beat you. That must be good looking. I'm not joking. Neither do I. It's really cute and has cat ears. So cute. That's so cute. I knew it. Sakakibara Suzu was very happy to be praised by her brother. And this was earlier than those 2 foxes. Didn't he win? Sakakibara Suzu felt happy when she thought of this. Why does Aling suddenly want to wear this dress? Tell the truth. It's nothing, I just want you to evaluate me. You want me to praise you? Yeah, it's not impossible. There must be a reason for everything. There is no reason. I just think that you are so good to me, brother. You can eat when you want, you can help me wash clothes if you want to be lazy, and you often come to the company to pick me up. You don't know, everyone envy me yet. She said how nice it is to have an older brother who often comes to pick her up. Sakakibara Suzu hesitated and talked a lot. In short, Aling just wants to act coquettishly in front of her, right? Speaking of which, she has been busy with work recently, and I have been busy practicing the piano, so I really haven't had a good conversation with her. Sakakibara was happy to see her cute and reached out to touch her little head. She smiled. In the past, she would actually open her hand and say, why don't you touch me? You won't grow taller, and then directly open one of her hands. Recently, she likes to touch her head. Sakakibara Raku didn't hate this feeling, but felt that he would be very happy to have such a close family. Brother, actually I still like you to move out alone. Why? Didn't you want me not to leave at first? I don't have any. Sakakibara laughed and said, well, no. Look how comfortable you are on your own. You can eat whatever you want, raise flowers and plants, and say hello to your uncles and neighbors after school. It's all good. I feel quite comfortable now. Julie Yulai can cook. She is always helping me. Don't you feel tired? No, I am alone. I cook 3 or 4 dishes and don't know who to feed them to. That's when I'm really tired. Okay, Sakakihara Suzu tried her best to hide her true thoughts. Well, that's it for today, I still have to go to rehearsal. Besides, I really like your clothes, Suzu. Sakakihara smiled. Sakakibara Suzu, who was in maid uniform, blushed, then raised her head suddenly and said with a bulging face, I just want your evaluation. Who wants you to like me? Okay, then it looks good, Raku. Sakakihara said with a smile, following his sister. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tou Lan. Chapter 189. In early November, ginkgo trees were blooming in the music department classroom. Sakakihara climbed up the keys with both hands, pressed the chords with his left hand obligingly, and quickly jumped on the piano with his right hand to produce a relatively beautiful sound. Stop, can you please be a little more careful? Tian Haikiming's doubts flew over coldly. This piece is your personal solo. If you don't play it well, you will lose not only the face of the school music department, but also your own face. Sakakihara Raku was already used to hearing such criticism. But even though Xiaoqiu criticized himself so harshly, he didn't know where he was not playing carefully. He was a little distracted. What went wrong just now? Tian Haikiming's tone softened a bit. Be careful. The thumb you played at the fast speed just now can be caught by the white keys. Wasn't it still good when you reviewed it yesterday? The simplified score I gave you is definitely enough for you to play. Piano is not something you can learn in a day. This is Raku Sakakihara's most profound experience after learning the piano. Nowadays, Sakakihara Raku's piano level is somewhat difficult to estimate. He can play everything below level 8, and he can play some music above level 10, but he can't play some music above level 9. For Alice and Dream Wedding. Such songs that are familiar to ordinary people and are extremely beautiful are only piano level 4 or 5. I was a little uneasy just now, Sakakibara said as his fingers slid across the keys. I just want to remind you that you have to perform on stage in 1 hour. Yeah, I know. But when I was playing just now, I suddenly remembered that my aunt is coming over this afternoon. Mom is coming, Tian Haikiming was confused. You don't know Nanamijiu, Sakakihara turned his body. Tian Haikiming shook her head, I don't know, but she came for that purpose. It seems you have guessed it. Sakakihara looked at her reflection in the piano's paint. I can see that Juliuli wants to get out of her aunt's influence, but she doesn't seem to know what she should do. Tian Haikiming found it very interesting, crossed her hands and said, so, are you planning to ask me? I didn't have to say that. You were asking me why I was distracted. You said it so carefully. I believe that there is definitely a desire to seek my opinion in it. Sakakihara was a little embarrassed that he had been exposed. He tried his best to pretend to be normal. I definitely never thought about it this way, but if you bring it up, if you have any suggestions, of course I am willing to listen. After all, you are twin sisters. You know Juliuli better than I do. Tian Haikiming shook her head, it's a pity that my sister and I can't deal with it now, and we will never give any advice here. Absolutely not. Have opinions. Actually, I feel that Chi Minjiu's absolute statement is a bit unreliable. Ha, Tian Haikiming sneered, are you trying to say that I don't keep my integrity? Yesterday you said you would never wear a maid uniform. Today dash. Tian Haikiming lowered her head and closed her eyes, and her voice became colder, I don't want to say the same thing a third time. Same thing? Sakakibara quickly searched for memories about Nanamayu in his mind. Finally, the time was fixed at Shura Field after lunch. I hate it, but I can't help someone liking it. Didn't I say that before? If you like the maid outfit, I will wear it for you, just this once. It seems that this is what Chi Minjiu is referring to. If I remember correctly, Chi Minjio said something similar to only you are special in the infirmary before. This seems to be the meaning. Sakakihara Raku can't remember clearly. Am I the only one special? Chi Minjio, you need me very much. Sakakibara couldn't remember what happened when he was a child, so he couldn't quite understand Chi Minjio's feelings for him. On the contrary, he knew Julie Yuli's feelings for him very well. She will only show another side of herself in front of herself, and will only experience the comfort of peace of mind in her arms. Therefore, when Julie expresses a similar meaning to herself as only you are special, Sakakibara will understand it better. But no matter how you say it, Nanamijio's words still make Sakakihara Raku feel a little guilty. To be more comprehensive, her love makes Sakakibara feel ashamed. Let's not talk about this anymore. Brother should have his own judgment in his heart, why bother asking me? Tianhai Chi Minjio took the book and sat back down, her back straight while wearing gold-rimmed glasses. How should I put it? I'm just a little unsure. I want to help Julie Yuli find some hobbies that are truly her own, but I feel like piano and kyoto are not very important things to Julie Yuli. What is this important standard? Tianhai Kaimingyu asked. Just like reading a book means to you Nanamijetsu, Sakakihara Raku explained, I think the meaning that books give you is much stronger than the meaning that piano and kyoto give to kururi. Hearing this, Amamai Nanamijetsu looked towards him, her eyes always reflecting Sakakibara Raku's thinking look. Chi Minjio. Nanamijio didn't say anything more, and obviously had no intention of continuing the discussion. Sakakibara Raku also knew it and stopped talking about it. However, he was curious about something. He asked again. Why isn't Chi Minjio like Julie Yuli? Same as what? That's right, so she needs and relies on her aunt's support. You see, for Julie Yuli, her aunt was her goal and motivation when she was a child. She wants to get her mother's approval and response, which is also the meaning of her progress. The sudden silence of Nanamai also caused Raku Sakakihara to become silent as well. After a moment, he asked Tianhai Kaimingyu, who had been staring at him with a little doubt. Why did you stop talking all of a sudden? The girl turned her delicate side face and replied, nothing. Sakakibara felt a little weird, but he couldn't tell what was weird. He only thinks that Chi Minjio's profile is particularly beautiful, so that the flying cherry blossoms in spring are eclipsed by it. At this time, the head of the music department, Sachiko, and the monitor, Ai Minakami, knocked on the door of the practice room and informed Raku Sakakihara to rehearse the song for the last time with everyone. Sakakibara-kun, come here. No problem. Tianhai Kaimingyu took the initiative to say goodbye and leave. There is nothing difficult about rehearsing, after all, we have practiced many times. After spending half an hour on the final rehearsal, Sakakibara followed everyone with large and small instruments to the separate performance theater set up by Mitoko Junior High School. Floating clouds blocked the sun, and a hand-painted performance catalog was erected under the Zelkova tree outside the theater. Standing not far away, Sakakihara saw that the music department's symphony was scheduled for 2:30 in the afternoon. Then, he followed everyone through the employee passage and entered the backstage. Performing at a cultural festival is not a big deal or a small thing. Nervousness is inevitable, but Raku Sakakihara has experience participating in large-scale competitions, so he doesn't show any nervousness. Water Love is different, she serves as a violinist in the music club. As a girl and in the first grade, Love on the Water, which is not bold in itself, started to get tense behind the scenes. Raku Sakakihara was standing behind the monitor. He saw her nervous look and said to her, by the way. Come on. Ah. Ahead, Mizuno's shoulders trembled, as if she was frightened. Thank you, thank you. Her reply was weak, but she still turned around, smiled and said thank you to Sakakibara Raku. He wondered if his voice had frightened her. Raku Sakakihara smiled in response. The stage staff began to notify everyone to prepare, and Minister Sachiko immediately directed everyone to take their assigned positions. Raku Sakakihara also walked towards the shiny upright piano stand. During this period, Sakakibara Raku also discovered that Nanami was standing behind the scenes watching him. Regardless of why she came here after saying goodbye, the important thing is that she gave herself a gentle mouth gesture. Scumbag. After that, she turned around and left the backstage. Raku Sakakibara was left confused. What? Does it make you a scumbag to say come on to the squad leader? Enter the venue and sit on the piano bench in front of the audience. Then before the music officially started, during the preparation time, Sakakihara glanced at the audience. I don't know if it was because the siblings were united or something, but Sakakibara Raku saw Sakakibara Suzu at a glance. If it were outside, in a private setting, a Ling would definitely say hello to herself. Tianhai Yulai was also in the audience. Tianhai Kaimingyu stood on the outermost side of the auditorium, looking towards the stage from a place without any lights. What are you doing standing over there? Doubts emanated from Sakakibara's heart. Among the members of the music department symphony orchestra, some are nervous, some are dull, some are timid, and some are confident and calm. In short, under the command of the instructor, the music started. Sakakihara Raku didn't have time to look for the shadows of Tenkai Kuruori and Tenkai Nanamajetsu, so the teacher's classic 4-beat command gesture was directed at him. Like driving a duck to the shelf, Sakakihara's fingers climbed onto the keys, and music began to flow at his fingertips. The bone-colored keys are so bright that they seem to reflect the audience's gaze. Sakakihara Raku was a little nervous. Fortunately, the music at the beginning was relatively soothing, like the leisure time of the pasture farm, and Sakakibara did not go wrong. The music also became richer because of his beginnings, with string instruments, brass instruments, and woodwind instruments added one after another. The rhythm began to become faster, and began to rise and fall like a raging river. Even the teacher's hand shaking rapidly seemed to have taken stimulants. The stimulation of music makes Sakakibara's increasingly practiced touch more exciting. Although the piano is only a part of the chords, his hands unconsciously want to play according to memory and perform with all his strength according to what he has given. Not wanting to be left behind by the other instruments, or by the students in the music department, the sound of the piano mixed in with the symphony seemed to be unwilling to admit defeat, competing with the other instruments. Fighting yet harmonious, passionate yet peaceful. Amami Nanamizuki watched indifferently from the side of the stage, her eyes locked on Sakakibara Raku's hands, following his rhythm, silently reciting the 4 beats he was going to play next. It's okay, the chain didn't fall off. Sakakihara Raku's eyes were locked on his hands and the score. He had only reached this point in playing, but his hands were already starting to get tired. He played with difficulty, and couldn't help but think of Julie Yulai's piano recital that he had watched before. The talent of closing your eyes and letting your whole body and mind enter the music is so out of reach, like a dream. The overall rhythm of the music became more and more exciting, and Sakakibara's vest became sweaty as he followed everyone's rhythm. Sakakihara Raku felt bitter. Sure enough, this stage was completely different from practice. The rhythm picked up involuntarily. Fast, extremely fast, the entire symphony burst out as it officially entered the 4th stage. Sakakibara felt that his body and mind were scattered to pieces by the stimulating music, leaving only his hands with few thoughts. Still struggling on the keys, like struggling upwards in the abyss of the sea, with water drowning in his throat and nose, but still trying to find the out-of-reach light. He quickly found it. Tianhai Kaimingyu stood looking at him in the secluded position before. She stood at the outermost side of the auditorium, alone, in the place where there was no light and the figure should be swallowed up. As if she was teaching him normally, the girl only gave him an upward look. Sakakibara laughed. Because she is saying it. Good. Is this considered a compliment? Such a cold attitude and such arrogant eyes can be regarded as encouragement? Raku Sakakibara laughed again. For a month, the technical experience he had practiced almost every day until 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening was ready to come out on the keys. The scene of Nanami Izuki holding his forehead and shaking his head again and again, and playing with his own hands followed closely. Get better. He became calmer. As Sakakihara's last quiet piano solo ended, the intense performance came to a perfect end. Hundreds of students in the venue booed and danced, clapping and cheering. Visitors and parents from outside also smiled at the people on the stage. Everyone applauded. Raku Sakakihara stood up along with everyone in the music club and thanked the audience. At the same time, he also discovered Tianhai Julie Yulai standing in the center of the auditorium looking at him. Suzuki-chan, is your brother that good at playing the piano? Sakakihara Suzu reluctantly responded, and the smile on her face was particularly stiff at this time. My brother has actually practiced the piano to this point. How many times does this guy have to interact with those two foxes? We have to practice piano together every afternoon, right? Sakakibara Suzu suddenly felt a little sad, because she felt that there was a trace of fox smell left on Sakakibara Lee's body. Not bad, right? After saying goodbye to everyone in the music club, Sakakibara saw Nanami Nanamizuki, who had been standing alone in the corner, and walked over to talk to her. General Tianhai Kaimingyu's attitude was cold. That's not what you said just now. When did I say you were great? Just now, I was playing the fourth stage. I'm afraid you're not suffering from delusion, I'm just looking to see if you're good at playing. Tianhai Chi Minjiu crossed her chest with one hand, and brushed the long hair beside her ear with the other hand, with her fingers behind her ears, her attitude cold. It also turned into a helpless attitude. That must be pretty awesome. Generally. The instructor just praised me behind the scenes. Sakakihara Raku has a backer. The instructor is just an amateur. Tianhai Chi Minjiu even looked up disdainfully. Brother, don't you think you are like a child who hurriedly asked for praise from his mother after scoring 100 points in the exam? Sakakibara was stunned. You, Chi Minjiu, mother. Is there any connection between Chi Minjiu and the word mother? Isn't it? Tianhai Kaimingyu asked, and raised her eyes condescendingly, but if you want to call me mom, you can just call me mom, and I can try to praise you reluctantly. It's such a mess, it's going to turn upside down. Can. Then shout. I'll shout again at the dinner table tomorrow when my uncle is around. Just like this, ahem, Nanami Minjiu's mother, please, your breakfast, fried rice with potato chips. Raku Sakakibara stood up straight, loosened his tie, and took it with him. The respectful tone imitated the scene at that time. Tianhai Kaimingyu responded gracefully without hesitation, then I will thank my precious son in advance. Do you need a head pat as a reward? You really dare to agree? Tianhai Kaimingyu gave a rare smile, as long as you dare to shout, I will naturally dare to answer. Sakakibara tried to think about the image of himself calling mom to Nanami Mingzuki at the family dinner table tomorrow morning. Forget it, forget it. Even if it's just teasing each other. But uncle and mother, Julie Yulai and Aling, why shouldn't they target themselves? About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tio Yu Lan. Chapter 190. Sakakibara decided not to argue with this girl Kyo. This girl of hers is more powerful than anything else. He turned his head and started looking for Tianhai Julie Yulai in the audience. But he looked around and didn't find her. Strange, weren't you in the third row just now? Where's Julie Yulai? Who knows? Tianhai Kaimingyu had no intention of answering. She turned around, not bothering to look at him. Sakakibara looked at her frosty face and thought, weren't you good sisters who hugged each other every day? Why is the relationship so broken at this moment? Are you running out of things to do in the afternoon? Tianhai Kaimingyu asked him with her back turned. It's okay. I won't be distributing the flyers today. There are other people in the cafe helping. Raku Sakakihara realized something at the same time and smiled lightly. Nana Mingzuki is not taking the opportunity to invite me to the cultural festival. Bar. Did I say yes? Tianhai Kaimingyu turned back one eye, and her little face turned sideways was as perfect as a work of art in the window. Little Kyo is actually not arrogant anymore. Could it be that someone like her also wants to go to the cultural festival with me? Then have some barbecue and drink some drinks together, and then sit under the shade of a tree to enjoy the coolness and watch how many clouds are in the sky. True and false. I hate repeating the same thing the most. Even if this is really the case, I don't have time. I have to go find Julie Yulai. Sakakibara said this deliberately, but he was actually testing Amami Nanami's reaction. But she didn't seem to have any reaction to it. Go if you want to. It doesn't matter whether you tell me or not. It's better if you don't tell me. Then I'll go. Well, go ahead. Alas, Sakakihara Raku really shouldn't agree. But no matter what, the outstanding performance of the symphony is all due to Chi Minjiao. Do you forget the kindness you just received from someone in the blink of an eye? Not very good. He even wanted to give himself a hammer. Then let's go. Sakakihara grabbed her. What are you going for? Tianhai Chi Minjiao's eyes were placed on his right hand that held her wrist. Let's go to the cultural festival before my aunt comes. You scumbag, didn't you just say you wanted to find your sister? Why are you dragging me along? Sakakibara let go of her slender wrist. Kuruori just said in line that she had to go to the Kyoto club to do some work first. Also. What a scumbag. Didn't you invite me first? A scumbag is a scumbag, that's the truth. Sakakibara tried his best to smile. Auntie, please can you stop being so arrogant? So, in what capacity are you agreeing to my request now? That must be the elder brother. The younger sister always needs to act coquettishly to her elder brother, touch her head and comfort her. Brother? I'm more interested in your son identity than this relationship. How about you call me Chi Minjiao's mother? Questions coming out of Tianhai Chi Minjiao's mouth can be turned into declarative sentences. This gave her words an inexplicable persuasiveness. Impossible. Call Mother Chi Minjiao and I'll give you a reward you can't think of. How can a body of 3 feet bend for 5 buckets of rice? Absolutely impossible. Tianhai Kaimingyu smiled contemptuously. I would like to remind you not to speak too absolutely. Oh, is it possible that I can really shout out? Sooner or later, I'll let you shout out willingly. Ha, that's ridiculous, Sakakihara sneered. Cultural festival. Speaking of which, the cultural festival was held for 4 consecutive days, and he only had time to appreciate the school that was completely different from the past. On the playground, rows of folding sheds are set up with various barbecues, drinks and snacks. There is also an exaggerated artistic font surrounded by flowers at the entrance to the school, which is a masterpiece of the Ikebana department. Raku Sakakihara stood in the center of the playground under the large colorful school emblem jointly produced by the painting department and the handicraft department, and could even hear the sound of singing on the stage outside the school festival not far away. At a glance, there are countless signs with yellow letters and red backgrounds saying 100 yen for green tea, 150 yen for milk tea, and 200 yen for coffee. It's hard to visit the snack stalls such as hot dogs, sushi, Hiroshima grill, skewers, and Chinese cuisine. The content of this school festival is so rich that even Sakakibara wondered if it was an orthodox fireworks display. The singing place was crowded with the most people. In addition to the parents who came from outside the school to visit and play, There were also a group of students waving cheering sticks, as if calling their idols, to cheer for the girls who were singing and dancing on the stage. That girl's name is Mitsuru, right? Raku Sakakihara glanced towards the stage. As far as I know, you were also scolded for cheating on campus forums. Because of Julie Yulai. Tian Haikimingyu did not deny it. Who doesn't know that my sister sent you a lunchbox? Indeed. Who doesn't like Tianhai Julie Yulai in school? The eldest lady of the Tianhai family is not only beautiful, but also has a gentle and kind personality, patient and responsible, and treats people as kindly as an angel. Sports are also very good. Every time she wears a ponytail and a tennis cap to play sports, she will attract the attention of a lot of boys. The swaying short skirt, the long snow-white legs, and every time she swung the racket, the flaxen ponytail would follow her movements. Coupled with that serious and beautiful face, there are dots of crystal pink sweat on the wings of the nose. No one dislikes this girl who is recognized as the most beautiful girl in the school. By the way, Sakakihara Suzu was called a little angel by some people at school. It's no wonder that Raku Sakakihara, who has a relationship with the two angels, was scolded. Tian Haikimingyu glanced at a guy who was lost in thought, and calmly stretched out his hand to twist the flesh of someone's waist. Hiss. Sakakihara bared his teeth and asked her, "Why do you do this again?" Tian Haikimingyu withdrew her hand and just looked at him with her eyes without saying anything. "We went to the cultural festival with me, and you were actually thinking about another woman." For some reason, Sakakihara Raku inexplicably understood this meaning from the face of Amami Nanamayu. "Strange, why do you think I have a special relationship with you? They are obviously just sworn brothers and sisters. Can't you think of another adopted sister? What do you want to eat? Anything is fine. Then don't eat it." Tian Haikimingyu pierced her with a friendly look. "I found that when you and I are together, you always like to talk back to me." "Each other? Who talks to you about each other?" Seeing her outstretched hand, Sakakibara quickly stopped what he was about to say. "There's nothing wrong with it, it's my fault. Bickering is bickering, and you still have to buy what you need to buy. After all, you have agreed to take Chi Minjiao to the cultural festival. 3 pieces of meat skewers, thank you." Tian Haikimingyu took the meat skewers full of chili noodles that he handed over, but did not start them for a long time. "Don't eat? You are deliberately going against me, right? Haha. What are you laughing at? I think you're quite cute. Chi Minjiao only likes light food and has little interest in meat." Of course, Sakakihara just wanted to tease her, so he immediately took out the portion he had secretly hidden in the bag without adding pepper. Not to mention anything else, Chi Minjiao is really cute when she looks a little angry. Ministry of Railways. Raku Sakakibara took Nanami to visit the Ministry of Railways' homemade miniature steam train. Someone is about to ask, "Why don't you take girls to see this thing? Please. The steam train that can burn coal is so cool. You can still sit on this thing, although sitting on it is almost equivalent to riding a water pipe, and the posture is as funny as possible." Sakakihara tried to suggest to Nanami Mingzuki that she should sit up and try it, but she refused without any suspense. After leaving the Ministry of Railways, the two walked in the corridor of the club building. "Why? It's fine if you can't sit on that thing. Didn't you notice that no girl dared to sit on it? Afraid of being exposed, right? By the way, what is it like for a girl to be exposed?" Amami gave him a strange, perverted look of disgust, and then said, "It's the same as taking the Tozei subway line at Monzon Nakamaki station wearing only a pair of underwear. That place." Sakakibara remembers that he waited for 5 subway trains during off-duty hours but failed to get on Tokyo's most popular route. Then, Raku Sakakibara followed the hand-drawn cultural festival map given on the campus bulletin board and came to the floor of the third-year seniors. Follow the propaganda of the seniors. They claim to have built a new type of haunted house that no one has seen in the 50 years since the school was founded. Wraith Blood Family. This is an old house located in Minamiko, Kyoto. There are many unknown secrets and grudges here. According to legend, countless murderers and imprisoned souls were once hidden here. Every passerby who happened to pass by would be attracted by this mysterious mansion and take a curious step inside. But what awaits them is always, the young girl following behind with blood scissors. Tickets, 500 yen. I heard that this haunted house is a large haunted house jointly prepared by 3 classes. It is no worse than the haunted house in the amusement park. Do you want to try it inside? Tian Haikaimingu threw away her palm and said, do you know what the rhetoric of the haunted house at last year's cultural festival was? What? The scariest super haunted house in the 49 years since the school was founded. It gets scarier every year, right? Then can you get in? In my opinion, there is nothing new about this subject matter, it is just a reality of certain movies. Are you going in? Having fun also requires interest. With copywriting and pictures like this, even if I don't go in, I can guess 80 or 90% of the content inside. Then do you want to go in? The focus of the haunted house is on the decryption process. Works of low-level reasoning like this have appeared hundreds of years ago and have no play value at all. Sakeki Haro looked at Chi Minjio with a different look. Are you afraid of ghosts? Tian Haikaimingu's eyes became unkind. Of course, I didn't go to the haunted house in the end. Gotcha egg platter, you can get up to PS5 grand prize. 100 yen once. The result, a classic stylish little junk keychain plus 10. How rubbish is it? Raku Sakakibara doesn't recognize any of the characters above. As long as he gets a character he knows well, he feels it's worth the money. Sakakibara seriously suspected that the PS5 in their class was a machine borrowed from the game department. Crystal Ball Divination. 100 yen/1 time. The fortune teller actually recognized Chi Minjio as Julie Yulai. He also said that he and the beautiful girl behind him already had an indissoluble bond. Chi Minjio's face turned dark, completely unforgivable. Chi Minjio, why don't you get more involved? Not interested in. How about I, my brother, play games with you? The game was chosen in groups of 2 pinch and pop balloons. Use your back and your partner to pop as many balloons as you can. The rules are very simple, the team with the most popping balloons wins, only for men and women. After looking at this shameful introduction, I queued up and paid the 200 yen ticket, and waited until the organizer gathered 5 groups of people. Raku Sakakibara took the field with confidence. The results were naturally quite perfect, and he was eliminated in first place. Chi Minjio, when you pinch the balloon, you should use some force to cooperate. Just use the balloon on your back to hit me as hard as you can. I can't play like this. Okay, I almost forgot that Tian Haikaimingu is a poor athlete and her physical abilities are not good enough. After that, I visited the flower exhibition of the Ikebana department and experienced a flower C classroom. Then I went to the painting department and looked at the top-level paintings in Tokyo. From time to time, Sakeki Hara asked Nana Mingzuki what themes and meanings were contained in these paintings. Unexpectedly, she could answer them all. How do you know so much? You can also appreciate paintings. Know a thing or two. The swimming club experienced the feeling of drowning, and the kendo club experienced the thrill of shocking everyone with swordsmanship from another world. In the end, we were sentenced to lose. If you want to ask why, it can only be said that in the other party's dojo, the rules are decided by the other party. Can the swordsmanship of another world be called kendo? What a bully. In the end, the destination of this cultural festival was to buy a cup of milk tea and sit under a tree to enjoy the cool air. On the edge of the playground, There are many tourists and students who bought lunch boxes and barbecues, sitting there eating and resting. After walking around this cultural festival, they said they were going together, but Sakakihara Raku felt that most of the time he was playing by himself. Nanami Minjaya was beside him to help him get clothes and other things, and he stood and watched. A beautiful girl of her level is too conspicuous in school. She is a mixed race, a twin, and the eldest daughter of the Tianhai family. Fortunately, she took off her glasses, and many people mistakenly thought she was Julie Yulai. Otherwise, you will have to let your classmates speculate about your relationship with your sisters. You say I'm accompanying you, but why does it feel like you're accompanying me? Quite simply, I don't play with that stuff. Can't you swim either? Won't. Hearing her answer, Sakakihara suddenly fell silent because he saw the expressionless expression on her beautiful face. Tenkai Nanamijetsu was quiet. The entire cultural festival was obviously very lively. Students and tourists were visiting with smiles on their faces, but Sakakibara Raku felt that she didn't seem to fit in well. When he went on stage to play the piano just now, Chi Minjaya had been standing in the audience, standing alone in the corner looking at him. Didn't you Chi Minjaya prepare for the cultural festival? I wrote Sister's 1-hour speech at the opening ceremony. There are only a small number of people in the culture department and there are not many activities to prepare for. Why aren't you hiring? It's simple, I don't like it. And because of what happened in the literature club before, not many people are willing to join the club. Chi Minjaya has always been alone. Except for Julie Yulai, no one took her out to experience daily life. At this moment, Sakakibara suddenly wanted to call Chi Minjaya's name. It wasn't why, but he just wanted to call her. It can be used to exchange for some sense of her own existence. Do you want to go back to the literature department? She asked suddenly. Anyway, you join the music club just to avoid danger temporarily. There will be a big exam after the cultural festival. Do you want to go back to the literature club? Chi Minjaya, are you taking the initiative to invite me? Well, I'm inviting you. Even if I'm a scumbag. Who told me to like a scumbag? What am I? Nanamayu said while looking at the sky made Raku Sakakibara look at her beautiful profile and was stunned for a long time. Did Chi Minjaya confess her love again? How many times have you confessed? To be honest, Sakakibara was worried about her, but he was also worried about Julie Yulai. Tianhai Kaimingyu stood up at this time and took 2 steps forward. The girl's figure was upright, and the warm green sun falling from the gaps between the leaves shone on her long flaxen hair. I remember I said before that there is no need to put pressure on my feelings. My opponent is my sister, not you. I'm saying this to you. It's just that I don't want to hold my thoughts back all the time. Can you buy it for me this afternoon? Just a kebab, and I'm already very happy. Sakakihara took the opportunity to ask her, do you want me to teach you how to swim next time? Swimming? Didn't you almost drown just now? That was a pure mistake. Why do you suddenly want to teach me how to swim? Why did you suddenly think of this? It was very complicated, and Sakakihara Raku couldn't figure out what he was thinking. Want to accompany Chi Minjaya so that she doesn't feel so lonely alone? Standing in the corner and looking at someone, this kind of image always reminds Sakakihara of himself in his previous life. Thinking of this, my lips suddenly felt the sweetness of green apple. Sakakibara clearly remembered the smell of kissing Nanamijiao, which shocked him. Do you really like her? No, it's not. He comforted himself. I probably want to teach you a passable sport. Is this an agreement? Yeah, promise. Tianhai Kaimingyu looked at him for a while and said, although your agreement is not worthy of trust at all, because you have abided by the contract every time, I will believe you this time. Sakakihara smiled, and then said to her, Your maid outfit looks pretty good. Really? But I don't like that outfit. Sakakibara did not answer her words and looked toward the school gate. At this time, a luxury car with a face as white as snow stopped at the school gate. The door opened and a pair of long legs stepped out. Immediately afterwards, Sakakibara Raku saw the almost iconic sapphire earrings. Is aunt still here? Even though Sakakibara was prepared, when he saw his aunt walking towards her with her distinctive and unique temperament, she still couldn't help but worry about Kuruori. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Bulletin 11 Huan Tio Lan. Chapter 191. Auntie came from the school gate. Wearing an elegant autumn camel hair coat, a pair of ladies' white gloves, a crystal necklace around her neck, and the single-sided sapphire pendant on her earrings, her whole person was shimmering in the sunlight. She put her hands into the pockets of her thick coat, and her streamlined flaxen hair fell from the rose hat. Her eyes explored the campus furnishings that were different from those in the past. The steps of her high heels seemed to resound even though they were far apart. In the ear. Her expression was normal, and she was observing everything in the cultural festival as if she were a parent who came to school to visit her children. At first glance, she is far from being annoying, and he even can't help but like her because of her demeanor and that delicate smile. She looks like a woman from the Victorian era. Sakakibara Raku could see too many shadows of Juliuli and Chi Minjiu on that face. A unique person like my aunt will naturally attract attention when she appears in a down-to-earth occasion like a campus festival where everyone is welcome. When Bertha Hekia stepped onto the flower path where the ikebana was completed, many people had already noticed her. She was also attracted by the gorgeous flowers near the school gate and stopped to admire them. At first glance, my aunt's temperament is that of a lady born into a big family, with elegant manners and a calm and friendly smile. Sakakibara sent a message to Amamai Kururi about her aunt's coming to school. While waiting for her reply, Sakakibara looked at Amamai Nanamai, whose face was 70% similar to her aunt's. What's Chi Minjiu's impression of mom? Bad woman, she answered simply and clearly. After hearing Nanamai's answer, Raku Sakakibara couldn't help but picture a woman like her aunt hiding a knife behind her smile, who was difficult to deal with. I have always had a question, and I want to ask you Chi Minjiu seriously. Explain. Why doesn't Chi Minjiu like mom? I remember you asked. You understand auntie's character, right? Tian Haikiming acquiesced, since my mother rarely treats me and my sister as daughters, why should I treat her as a real mother? I call her mother, but it is just to prove that she gave birth to me. Just defensible facts. Compared to Juliuli's dependence, Tian Haikiming has its own autonomy. Sakakibara Raku summarized the difference in attitudes between Shimokuri and Nanamajetsu towards Bertha Hekia. Actually, I would like to ask Chi Minjiu why you didn't end up in Juliuli's situation? You are twins, and our life trajectories are almost the same. Logically speaking, you and Juliuli should have similar personalities. There is a problem with this, Tian Haikiming said. Why don't you ask why my sister is not like me? Even twins cannot be completely equal in life, just like a toy that only has one cannot be shared by two people at the same time. Tian Haikiming stared at Wenhua's mother. Besides, my mother has always been partial since she was a child. She said this in a softer voice, but Sakakibara Raku still heard it. At this time, Tian Juliuli responded to the message using line. Raku Sakakibara took out his phone and checked it. She answered with the word She also said that she wanted to tell her mother what she thought so that he wouldn't have to worry. After Bertha Hekia looked at the flowers near the school gate for a while, she started walking towards the teaching building. Sakaki Hararaku also planned to follow him first. Even though Juliuli told herself not to worry, Juliuli was facing her aunt, which made Sakaki Hararaku have to worry. "Brother." Tianhai Kaimingyu called him in a normal voice. "What?" Sakaki Hara turned around and asked. Nana Mingzuki, Sakakibara was happy to see that Nanamai Kingyu didn't speak, so he asked again. "No, it's nothing." Tianhai Kaimingyu stared at him intently for a while, then turned her gaze to the other side. The autumn wind made the fallen leaves whisper, brushing through the tree crowns and also brushing the long flaxen hair of the girl under the tree. Although Raku Sakakibara still wanted to ask Nanamai Mingzuki something more, his aunt had already started to take action, so he had to go over and talk. "Let's talk about it later." After saying these words, Sakakibara Raku left here. Walking through the corridors, through the school atrium, and following my aunt's footsteps all the way to the teaching building. Bertha Hikia walked in the school, the sound of high heels echoed in the corridor, her whole body had an aura that could not be concealed, which naturally made her face the curiosity of many students. Most of the students were guessing in their minds which Chable lady's mother this was. And many people have already guessed her identity when they saw the flaxen hair and the vaguely similar face. Sakakibara Raku followed all the way and watched her aunt arrive on the 4th floor and go to the year group classroom to find Amamai Kuruuri. Bertha Hekia stood outside the classroom, obviously staring at the furnishings in the classroom for a while. Then we saw Tianhai Juliuli who was helping everyone inside. The students in class 1 discovered that the beautiful lady standing outside was Juliuli's mother, and they all greeted her respectfully. Bertha Hekia also responded to everyone with a kind smile, without showing any airs about her. "I want to talk to Liuli alone. I wonder if you can borrow Liuli's time." Seeing that Juliuli's mother spoke so kindly, everyone responded with a smile. After Tianhai Juliuli walked out of the classroom and all the classmates beside her withdrew their triggers, Bertha Hekia looked at her daughter, raised her chin slightly, and asked her, "Is there anyone on the rooftop of your school?" "No." Tianhai Juliuli answered her mother softly, holding her cell phone in her hand as if she wanted to contact someone. "Go to the rooftop." Without any hesitation, after Bertha Hekia said this, she put her hands into the pockets of her thick coat, turned around, and walked towards the corner upstairs. Sakakibara noticed that his aunt was walking back with Juliuli, and then took a few steps back, half hiding at the corner of the stairs. He looked up and saw Bertha Hekia walking upstairs in a windbreaker, and also saw Tianhai Juliuli following behind with her head lowered. Sakaki Hara Raku then followed. Rooftop. Raku Sakaki Hara walked through the utility room and classroom, walked up the last flight of stairs to the rooftop, and hid behind the half-open door, wanting to hear how Juliuli planned to answer her mother first. "Did you prepare that classroom just now?" Bertha Hekia asked. "Yes." Tianhai Juliuli lowered his head and answered. "You seem happy to help them." "It's good to help everyone. Everyone is very happy." "What about the piano? Didn't you listen to what I told you before?" It seems you have some ideas. Tell me, why are you wasting your time on this kind of thing?" Tianhai Juliuli took a gentle breath, then raised his head and said to his indifferent mother, "I have told my mother before that I should also have my own life, and the piano is not everything. Then I should have told you that the competition date is approaching. What will be the consequences if you don't practice?" "I know, but because there is a cultural festival to be held recently, there are a lot of things to prepare, and I need to help with the planning." "Luli, do you still remember what I said to you? I want you to quit the club. You can just throw the position of squad leader to Chi-Chi, or just throw it to other people. What is important to you is there's only one, do you understand? Everyone still needs me." "Need you? Can't this kind of insignificant thing just be left to someone to do? Besides, is this kind of thing important? What can you do with these things in the future? This thing of yours is worth the most money. Waste precious time. Bertha Heckia stretched out her hand and frowned, speaking faster and faster, as if she was suppressing something. Such a voice made Tianhai Julie Yulai panic. No, it's not these things dash. Okay, I don't have time to listen to these childish remarks of yours. Speaking of which, what you are preparing is ridiculous. Is it necessary to spend Li Yulai's time on this? When Bertha Heckia saw that her daughter was about to say something to her, she waved her hand to interrupt her and said, I don't have the patience to wait any longer. You still have time to compete in the event in February next year. Follow me first. Bertha Heckia put aside this commanding tone and prepared to turn around and leave just like before. But she took 2 steps and found that Tianhai Julie Yulai hadn't followed. She turned around, looked at her daughter standing there, and frowned. Is this your response after thinking about it for a few days? Yes. You made me wait for so many days, and I asked you to go back and think about it. Is this how you responded to me? I'm sorry, I don't want to leave. Tianhai Julie Yulai put his hands in front of him, squeezing the birthday gift on his wrist. Bertha Heckia raised her eyes. Luli, you have to know that I have taught you piano for more than 10 years, and I have spent a lot of time teaching you. Even after divorcing Madian, I will still play piano with you. Contact me and see how far you have practiced according to the standards I gave you. Can you deny these things? Is this how you plan to respond to your mother? I'm sorry. Tianhai Julie Yulai apologized. Is that all it takes to apologize? I will go to the competition, but I feel that before that I need to live my life. When the competition time comes, I will definitely go. It's this rhetoric again. Bertha Heckia approached her again, her face so calm that there was no wave. If I remember correctly, you answered me in the same way before. Someone taught you to say this. Talk. No, Mom, that's what I think. You haven't figured out what the Chopin International Piano Competition is yet. The opponents you have to face are not people of your age group. Some people have even studied the piano several times more than you. Do you think you can? What are the consequences of living this idle life now, busy with classes, busy with clubs, busy with housework, and then participating in a competition of this level? Follow me, she said, holding out her hand. Tianhai Julie Yulai took a step back, his eyes full of apology, and shook his head and replied, No. Walk. Sorry. Lu Li. Bertha Heckia suddenly slowed down her voice and took off the white glove on her right hand. When Tianhai Julie Yulai raised his face in response to his mother. With a sound of pa, the girl's heart suddenly tightened, and the girl's face turned to the right. Then, a bright red mark was printed on the girl's face. Tianhai Julie Yulai stood there blankly, with a burning pain like a handprint on his face. Her face was blood red from the slap, and the hair beside her ears was messed up. As the pain on his face extended deep into his heart, Tianhai Julie Yulai lowered his face in front of his mother. Even Sakaki Harakozo was listening to the conversation between the two in the distance, but he was shaken by the loud slap. This was a development he had never imagined. My aunt actually hit Julie Yulai? Why? To Julie Yulai, aunt is someone who makes her smile every time she talks about it. For Julie Yulai, it is her support and reliance for more than 10 years, and the person she needs most. And Julie Yulai, who has always cherished the respect and love for her mother, is now slapped hard by her mother? Sakakibara stood up quickly after hearing the sound. He poked his head out and saw Amamai Kuruori, whose face dropped in front of his mother with a stiff expression. And the mother who slapped her daughter but still didn't change her face. Are you awake yet? Enough. Raku Sakakibara quickly came to Bertha Heckia and used his back to block the sight of his mother, who was holding her head down. Bertha Heckia showed no surprise at his appearance. This is my own family matter, and it's not your turn to interfere, she said without emotion. Don't you think you're going too far? Too much? Compared with my efforts for more than 10 years, do you think a slap is too much? I just want her to wake up. Sakakibara tried his best to suppress the emotions in his heart and said angrily, do you know what Jurulai thinks of you? You actually treated her like this. What do you know? Yes, I don't know much, but as far as I know, she is a person who always feels happy when talking about you. For more than 10 years, she has regarded you as her most respected mother. She listens to your words and only looks forward to being with you. You meet me. Okay, if she was really obedient, I wouldn't use the slap to wake her up. You are just saying something to refute me from her perspective. If you think about it a little bit, you can understand why I hit her. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. Have you put yourself in someone else's shoes? Xiao Le, I don't want to talk to you about these useless nonsense, get out of the way. I just want to ask one more thing, have you put yourself in someone else's shoes? Bertha Hekia raised her eyes, I'll just say it again, this is our family's business, it's not your turn to take action. Then I will only say it once again. As Juliulai's nominal brother, I will never sit idly by and ignore this kind of thing. You are determined to go against me, aren't you? It's not that I'm against you, it's that what you did is simply not worthy of your current status, Bertha Hekia. Bertha Hekia smiled because she hadn't heard anyone dare to call her name like this for a long time. Interesting, interesting. I want to hear how you, the nominal brother, are going to convince me. Do you think my teachings of more than 10 years are all fake? I have taught her for more than 10 years, and I have never treated her like this in July. You have given me your heart, but you just want me to leave with just one sentence. Do you understand how much I have devoted my efforts to her at this moment? Why do you think so? You are not worthy at all. Teaching. It seems to me that you are purely using your own identity and your identity as a mother to deceive your daughter. It's a joke. I've been carrying her since she was a child. Because of them, my career has even been dragged down. Do you know how hard it was for me when I was pregnant with them? You don't deserve it if you don't deserve it. If you don't deserve it, you don't deserve it. Your words can't support your actions at all. Just because of a slap. You can deny my mother's identity with just a slap. Ridiculous, just because of your boyfriend who was dumped after only 2 days of dating. Amamai Kuruori kept her head down behind Sakakibara Raku, and the pain from the slap on her face had not subsided. At the same time, she also heard the words a boyfriend who was dumped after not even 2 days of dating. This reminded Amamai Kuruori of his previous treatment of Sakakibara Raku. He could treat him the way he did before, but he is still standing in front of him now. Amamai Kuruori lowered his head and saw the hem of Sakakibara Raku's clothes, and the guilt in his heart resurfaced again. Bertha Heika, what you want is nothing more than to win the gold medal in the Chopin International competition through Julio Li. You are just using Julio Li as your tool. Fundamentally speaking, you are just an incompetent person. Shut up. Did you get poked where it hurts? That's enough, Bertha Hekia waved her hands boredly, I've heard enough of this nonsense, and I'm too lazy to argue with you about these useless arguments. Li Yulai, come here and leave with me. Lu Li, come here. Bertha Hekia frowned, Lu Li. Sakakibara laughed. Lu Li. Have you forgotten what I said to you in the car before? Do you still remember what I said to you? As long as you leave with me to England, you will have everything you want. Mom, stop talking. I promised that I would compete, but I have my own life, and I won't go with you now. After whispering, Amamai Kuruori leaned behind Sakakibara Raku and grabbed the corner of his clothes. On her hidden face, there was still the grievance of being slapped by her mother, and a stiff expression of wanting to cry but trying hard to smile. Lu Li, Bertha Hekia shouted again. Sakakibara protected Juliuli with one hand, and said to Bertha Hekia with a serious face, Isn't the fact already obvious? Okay, 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 good. Bertha Heckia looked at the two people standing together and was extremely angry. Luli, if you continue to disobey me, don't expect to see me again in the future. Tianhaiju really did not respond, but just hid his head behind Sakakibara Raku. Have you forgotten what you said to me? Luli. Sakakihara Raku, Auntie, I said, the facts are already obvious, your method of using your mother's identity will no longer work. Bertha Heckia looked unhappy. What did you say to her? I didn't say it to her myself. You said it yourself last time, saying that you didn't treat Juliuli as your daughter at all. Juliuli just accidentally overheard the conversation between the two of us. No, it should be said that Juliuli has known for a long time that you don't regard her as your real daughter. As for why I still listen to you and come to meet you, I can only say that your aunt Slap just now completely destroyed her identity. Bertha Heckia is a smart woman, and she certainly knows what this means. This means that he has blocked his own way, and now it is impossible to use his mother's identity to order Juliuli to obey. Realizing this, she knew that her stay here was of no use at all. She turned around and left angrily. About the fact that I unintentionally raised my sister to be a cripple. Author, Wo Buletin 11 Huan Tio Yu Lan. Chapter 192. After watching Bertha leave the rooftop with his own eyes, Sakakibara still felt a knot in his chest. He could feel Tianhaiji holding the hem of his clothes tightly behind him when he was talking, and he could also feel the helplessness that Bertha Heckia was trying to hide behind his back when he was talking to her. As a biological mother, Bertha could even say that without any burden, and even attributed her selfless dedication to teaching Juliuli the piano. But after all, wasn't piano what she wanted Juliuli and Chi Minjiu to learn? It was something she asked the twins to learn, not something the twins asked her to teach. Why would she call this a sacrifice? A mother regards the relationship between herself and her daughter as a pure exchange of interests, and using the relationship in exchange for her efforts to respond to her mother's feelings is difficult for anyone to accept. 9 Glazed glass. Sakakibara turned around and saw the girl standing in front of him with her head lowered. She was still wearing her usual school uniform, and her hair was combed as smoothly as before, but when she saw the bright red palm print on the side of her face, it was extremely distressing to see. Sakakihara even regretted not taking the initiative to slap Bertha back, and then told her that it was to wake you up. Amamikuruori responded softly. Sakakibara could see that she wanted to smile, but no matter how hard she tried to change the expression on her face, she still looked stiff and twisted. Sorry, I should have come out earlier. It's okay, it was my own decision. Her voice was very calm, as if what happened just now had never happened. She was trying to endure her emotions, telling herself that she couldn't cry like before. But Sakakihara understands what kind of position her mother occupies in her heart. Mother and daughter had not completely broken up in the past, and Bertha had been pretending to be a good mother. This could give Juliuli hope of self-deception and comfort herself with deception. But now, she is not even qualified to deceive herself. Bertha had never considered her daughter's identity, not at all. Sakakibara's eyes were always on the red mark on her face. The longer he looked at that place, the worse his mood became. Does it hurt? He asked in as soft a voice as possible. Tianhaiji did not answer this time, but only shook his head in silence while holding the corner of his clothes. Sakakihara wanted to help her solve her trouble, so he said to her, "It's not the same thing that my aunt always comes here. Do you want me to tell my uncle about this?" Sakakibara wanted to call his uncle directly, but in the end it still depended on Juriuri's opinion. See how she treats her aunt. After a long silence, Tianhaiji nodded and agreed. Sakakibara didn't say anything more. He took out his cell phone, found his uncle's number, and called him. After all, Bertha really went too far this time. The phone rang many busy signals until the female announcer began to say that the phone could not be connected temporarily. Please leave a message first and call again later. Didn't get through. Sakakibara glanced at Tianhai Jurili. Maybe my uncle is busy and has no time. I will call him later. Yeah, Tianhai Juli agreed gently. After waiting for 5 minutes, Sakakibara dialed his uncle's phone number again. This time after 4 blind tones rang in succession, the call was connected. This made him somewhat happy. Hello. The voice of my uncle's promise came over the phone. However, his voice sounded very hurried. There were many pairs of leather shoes hitting the floor, and there was an echo, as if he was rushing with someone. After hearing his uncle ask what happened, Sakakibara quickly explained why Bertha came to school today. Bersha is looking for Julie Yuli again. Right. She actually dared to come. No, well, I know, Julie Yuli and their uncle must have let her in. Bertha must have used something to embarrass their uncle. Tianhai Madian seemed to show displeasure after hearing that Baisha came to school to meet Julie Yuli. What did Julie Yuli say? Julie Yuli did not leave with her. That's good. That uncle. I understand the situation, but now I have to prepare for the court session immediately. I will handle this matter after Julie Yuli goes to court. Bertha is so easy to deal with. Uncle doesn't talk to Julie Yuli. There were urging voices from other people on the phone, and Amamai made Nori left for a while to answer his companions. Zayal, I already know the situation, let's talk about it later. Hang up tone. Uncle Amamai seemed to be really busy. During the time that Sakakibara was calling him to talk about the matter, several people were already urging him to come to the rescue. Sakaki Hararaku had just finished talking about Bertha's purpose of coming to Julie Yuli, and he hadn't even told how Bertha beat Julie Uri. The uncle hurriedly hung up the phone. The phone has been hung up. Listening to the phone call that ended abruptly and was hung up, Sakakibara's eyes came to Amamai Kuruuri's body. She tried her best to smile and said, "It's okay. It's understandable. Dad is always so busy." Uncle Tianhai. Well. In fact, without realizing it, even my mother has become such a busy person. Although she was busy when she was a child, she still cared about her family. Recently, she probably thought that she and Aling had gone to high school and were independent, so they went home less and less. Uncle Tianhai understands that he is busy. You can tell from the phone call just now. But for my daughter. No wonder Uncle Tianhai said that he was unworthy of his 2 daughters and had not fulfilled his due responsibilities. He is also the kind of person who doesn't know how to express his father's love. He doesn't know how to express his concern to Julie Yuli and Chi Minjiu. She usually gives them a lot of money and lets her use it to buy what she wants. This is indeed something many people dream of. But for people like Julie Yuli and Chi Minjiu who have been in this environment since childhood, love is obviously more important than money. While being looked down upon by his mother, his father was busy with his career. Seeing her current state, Sakakibara couldn't help but be affected. Seeing her feeling uncomfortable but still trying to be strong, Sakakibara reached out to her and squeezed Amamai Kuruuri's weak hand. Probably because of this gesture of reaching out to her, Amamai Kuruuri couldn't bear it anymore after buffering her emotions for a while, and took the initiative to hug Sakaki Hararaku. Sakakibara was hit by her sudden hug and subconsciously raised her head. It was not that it was difficult to accept, but that she hugged herself very tightly this time, so tight that Sakakibara could even feel the helplessness in her heart at the moment. She cried in her arms. Just like the last time he hugged her and let her cry in his arms. Sakakibara didn't know what he should say to comfort her at this time. To be honest, he didn't know where to start. He just reached out and caressed her weak and helpless back, hugged her slender and petite body, and patted her gently from behind. I hope this will ease her uncomfortable mood even more. It would give her a slightly more secure place to rest. While Sakakibara held her, he could smell the fragrance of her hair and feel the touch of her hair close to his skin. I think of Julie Yuli's gentle and sweet smile in the past, the way she calmly stood on the podium at the opening ceremony, the way she was busy at the cultural festival and was needed by everyone, and the way she would cook when she was cooking. He looked like he was trying his best to help. Sakakibara gently patted Tianhaijurili and said to her, crying in his arms, "It doesn't matter, Julie Yuli, it's not your fault. You have worked hard enough. You have tried your best. Everyone likes you. It's not your fault that your aunt treats you so well. It's because she doesn't know how to cherish it." These words of approval made Amamai Kuruori, who was already dependent on Sakakibara Raku, couldn't help but cry. Buried on the school uniform on his chest, a few tears from the corners of his eyes stained the hem of his clothes. "Thank you." Tianhaijuli Yuli didn't cry for long. But after her feelings were vented normally, she tried hard to contain her emotions. Wanting to help her get out of her current mood, Sakakihara smiled and said, "Why do you keep saying thank you?" "Because, I actually don't know what to say." Sakakihara heard that her voice was still a little weak and her face was buried, so he stretched out his hand and took her into his arms. Tianhaijuli Yuli seemed to like this feeling very much. She did not refuse, but took the initiative to follow his hand around her shoulders and bury herself in the arms he opened to her. This feeling is very reassuring. Close to the other person's chest, you can feel the body temperature and breathing. Neither of them spoke, but just felt each other in the wordless silence. "Feel better now?" Much better. Tianhaijuli Yuli said this, but she didn't mean to leave his arms at all, she just buried her face in it. At this time, she was like a little girl who wanted to find someone to act coquettishly after being sad. There were still tears in the corners of her eyes, but she couldn't help but want to find someone to get close to her and want a long-term hug. "Face, does it still hurt?" Sakakibara reached out and touched her cheek, which seemed to be feverish. "There's some left." It seems that Julie Yuli has become a little more frank, at least willing to tell the truth in her arms. "Sorry, I didn't expect my aunt to go so far." Tianhaijuli Yuli leaned her face against his chest and shook her head gently, "It's a request I made myself. But it was also my negligence. I shouldn't have stood outside and listened for so long. Would Nissan not like me like this? What is this about? Crying, coquettish, timid, afraid of facing many things." Tianhaijuli Yuli lowered her eyebrows when she said this, and her voice became smaller and smaller as she spoke, until it disappeared completely. She seemed to be worried about something, as if she was harboring uneasiness in her heart. "Actually, I am the same. I am mediocre, useless, and have no special features. Apart from being able to cook a little, I am still hesitant. Is this comforting me? It's obvious, isn't it? Then will you like me like this? It's cute to act like a baby. At least I like it when someone is willing to hold me like this. Ahem. Don't look at me with that look. I really like it." Under his gaze, Tianhaijuli Yuli withdrew her eyes from looking at him. Maybe the real her is not like that perfect and perfect person, but because of her mother, she is not confident at all. I found that Nissan is actually very comforting. True and false. After being praised for being cute, I feel very happy and warm. I think so. It seems that Aling is like this too. Praise her for being cute and she will be very happy. It's just that most of her happiness is with her tail raised to the sky. Julie Yuli is much softer in comparison, making people want to hug her and cherish her cuteness. I still remember what you said to me. This cry is really the last time. Julie Yuli wants to become stronger. No, can't you? Of course not, that's great. That one. You still want to hug me? Sakaki Hararaku saw her embarrassed request at a glance. I want you, please hold me for a little longer. Tianhaijuli Yuli's voice became smaller and smaller, until finally, it was as thin as a mosquito. At this time, Sakakibara naturally would not refuse her request, and once again reached out to hug her small body. Tianhaijuli Yuli leaned forward with a little happiness in his heart. While feeling embarrassed, he carefully put his face against him, listening to his heartbeat and smelling the smell of his clothes. After hugging her for a while, Sakakibara secretly observed her a few times, noticed the red mark on her face, and said, "Julie Yuli, it looks like you won't be able to get rid of this look for a long time. It's not appropriate to go downstairs like this. Let me think about it, please wait a moment." Sakakibara let go of her hand. After Tianhaijuli Yuli sensed that he was leaving, she subconsciously wanted to catch him. "Don't worry, I'll be right back." Saying this, Tianhaijuli Yuli let him go. In less than 5 minutes of waiting, Tianhaijuli Yuli, who was sitting on a chair on the rooftop, heard his footsteps coming back. "Take this and wear it." "Mask? Well, no matter how much I can hide the marks on your face, you can't go out like that. Just explain to everyone that it's a pollen allergy. Everyone can understand." Sakakibara held the mask with both hands. While speaking, he waited for her to pull away the hair around her ears and helped her put it on. "Look carefully." "Well, it's true that I can't see it." Tianhaijuli Yuli was still holding her hair behind her ears, watching him put on the mask for her, and asked carefully, "Why are you so nice to me? I like you. But that's not the real me. That's the real Julie Yuli. It's just that the real Julie Yuli also has times when he is sad and needs people. Just like no matter how strong a person is, he needs a certain amount of rest time. But I've done that kind of thing to you before. Didn't I say everything is over?" Sakakibara smiled lightly at her again, just wanting to make her as happy as possible. "If you don't talk about these unhappy things, what do you want to eat at night? I'll give it to you." "You do it." This is what Aling said, "If she is unhappy, I will make her something she wants to eat, and she will be fine soon." Tomato scrambled eggs. Tianhaijuli Yuli looked a little restrained. "So ordinary? Don't pay too much attention to me." Tianhaijuli Yuli, who was wearing a mask, glanced at the birthday gift on her wrist and reached out to protect it. Then, she looked up at him shyly and asked in a somewhat uncertain voice, "Really? Can you do it for me?" "Ah," Sakakibara nodded and agreed forcefully, "I can make you whatever you want to eat. I don't need your help this time. I'll do it for you." What he said, and the heat generated by his words after he helped her put on the mask, made Tianhaijuli Yuli's heart warm a lot. She squeezed the bracelet tighter on her wrist. Then, the girl slowly took off one mask. "Is your face still a little red? Let me see." Sakakibara thought she wanted him to see the current situation on her face, so he unconsciously turned his head towards her. But when he got closer, his expression was startled. Because he saw Tianhaijuli Yuli looking at him with bright and moist eyes. Tianhaijuli Yuli was a little shy and evasive at this time, plus she pursed her lips slightly. Sakakibara remembered, wasn't this the way she looked at him while standing in front of him that night? Those shining sapphire blue eyes made people's hearts flutter just by looking at them. Before he could look at it for even a second, Tianhaijuli Yuli took the initiative to close his eyes and put his head over.